Okay, everybody, welcome back to Game Over Cancer 2022. That was an amazing race we just had between two exceptionally talented speedrunners. That was very close, big nail biter. Now coming in, we have a very fun run for you guys. It's going to be Astria Ascending by Aeshmah. And this is going to be roughly a 4-hour run, but we have just actually heard that he set a world record in terms of practice, so we might see a much shorter time. This is going to be an any percent normal. Just before we get started, I would like to, and that's a Windows update. I would like to just have a huge thank you to Visual Amphibian. He gave 25 USD. Thanks for a hype event. We appreciate that a lot. We put on a lot of work trying to help make sure that we make a difference out there and we put on something fun for you guys. So very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. With all of that said, we're going to get ready to go. Aeshmah, you're whenever you want, man. Just give us a countdown.
Alright, hello everybody. As just introduced, I'm Aeshmah, and I'm going to be running Astria Ascending any percent normal for you guys. And as far as I'm aware, this is the longest run in this marathon, and I'm kinda always saying that whenever I run this game anywhere, so get comfy, grab a beverage of your choice and relax, sit down, because I'm gonna be gushing about this game for the next couple hours for you. And since we have so much time to do just that, how about we just jump right in? So let's get this run going in 3, 2, 1, go. So basically the first thing that you're gonna notice about this game is it looks absolutely gorgeous. Like, the art style is just phenomenal, and I'm not gonna lie, this was probably the thing that got me interested into the game in the first place, because I could just not get enough of this art style. Now, crazily enough, this has actually not been developed by Vanillaware, which you might think it has been, because it's kind of similar in style to, games like Odin's Theer, Muramasa, Dragon's Crown, etc. It was actually developed by a new developer called Artisan Studios, which I think they are based out of Canada, if I'm not mistaken completely here. But yeah, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna switch our characters around a little bit, just to have a little bit of a stronger lineup. We go to the settings and I will turn the weakness indicator display on. What this basically does is you get a visual cue whenever you select an enemy what their weaknesses are, or basically if the attack that you have selected to attack that enemy with will hit their weakness, which is really important. So it's kind of a visual aid during the run. Normally I wouldn't need it per se, because I've played this game so much that I should know all the weaknesses of all the enemies anyway, but things can get heated during a run pretty easily, especially if it's a marathon, so I just like to have it on for a little bit of a safety cushion, I want to say. So I do know that I have selected the right attack to hit an enemy with. And as you probably also can tell already, is that this is indeed a JRPG, which also kind of explains why this run is gonna take as long as it does, because role-playing games generally tend to be on the longer end of the speedrun spectrum in terms of time. Alright, for now we're just, having our first couple tutorial battles, see how the game mechanics work and all of that stuff. Interestingly enough, this is one of the role-playing games where you actually start out with all of your characters like right at the beginning, so we won't pick up any new characters during the course of the run. We have all of the 8 characters that we will ever get like right from the start, and you are basically free to mix and match them to your general preference. Obviously, as a speedrun, our team will be kinda locked in, even though we basically use every character that we have access to except one, which I just have not found any use for. It's not that she's a bad character, it's just that everybody else fits the speedrun better than she does. And in this case, I'm actually talking about Alasia. If you know the game, we will basically never see her on the battlefield. If not, well, maybe you can see who that one character is that I'm not gonna use. But for now, just more tutorial battles. We're just clearing out one part of the main city of the game here. We are in the town of Harmonia. It is sectioned off into 5 different districts according to the 5 races of the game world. And as the name implies, they are living here together in harmony, hence the name Harmonia. Now this red encounter is actually the one encounter that I want to get, because in just a little while after we clear out the first dungeon, we're actually gonna come back and do a little bit of a farming session. Now I don't know why my characters are so weak that they leave all these enemies alive by just a sliver of health. But here we are, I suppose. Hello? Come on, guys! We're alive! Kill these enemies dead, please. Another nice thing that this game does is, outside of combat, you actually passively regenerate your HP. So you don't have to use as many restoratives as you might think. And the neat thing on top of that is, if you are in a town, you will also passively regenerate your MP. So, you know, you don't have to use a lot of your items to regenerate stuff. Now this enemy that I'm fighting here, a Tufa, they are a little bit of a hassle in the beginning of the run because you can only hit them with magic attacks. And since we only have very few MP to go around, kinda have to pick my fights with those guys a little bit. Because I definitely need all of my MP for the boss fight that is coming up. But yeah, this is the first dungeon of the game. It's the sewers underneath the town. Obviously, it's infested by monsters, so we are gonna go and have a look.
My turn. Hiya! Phew. What do we have here?
And we are about to pick up our first ring upgrade. So the ring is basically some kind of projectile weapon that you can use. You can hold different elemental powers that we'll pick up during the run, and which are used for various things, like, you know, hitting switches, burning barriers, pushing blocks, all that kind of stuff that, you know, compromise the puzzles of the game inside the dungeons. So it doesn't get too boring just running around fighting enemies.
We've got this.
This is actually a bit of a bad fight, so I'm just gonna immediately run away and try again, see if we can get some other variation on the enemies, because I do not want to fight these two guys. Not right before the boss fight. Well, sadly the two enemies got replaced by one enemy, which is a bit of a bad trade here. I would rather have preferred some more enemies. But why that is, I will go into a little bit more detail once we get to the grinding section, because yes, this speedrun has some mandatory grinding to it. Sadly, I have not found a way to circumvent that. So we're just gonna have to grit our teeth when it comes to that, and get through it. Okay. I was able to kill these guys. Not too bad though. Normally I would use another fire blade with Cress, but I also need her MP for the boss fight, so I'm not gonna use that for now. But here the puzzle is that we have to hit these 4 switches in the correct order. Lucky you don't have to be, or the switch that you hit doesn't have to be on screen when you hit it. So just, you know, shoot in the general direction and you should be good to go here.
It's battle time.
Okay, another one of these encounters.
Leave it to me. Yeah.
Probably not gonna, yeah. It's a little bit sad that we got these fights in these constellations, because I already used up a little bit of my MP, so I'd rather not use more to make this fight go quicker. But we'll get through it. The more important thing is, do we have enough SP on Crest to get Nyx Blade? That is what I want to know once we get this Confused God Ring and go into the next area. Just a hop and a bob away. And then we have one more fight before we come to our first boss fight in the run. Just gonna get through here. Another 2 enemies. I think you might be a little bit low on SP, if I've done the math correctly, but we'll see in just a moment. Yep. We are 1 SP short. That is... actually... yeah, well, nothing I can do about it. Just have to grit our teeth and get through it. It's been a long while since I've had this happen, actually. This is interesting now. Yeah, probably this boss fight will take a little bit longer because of that. But yeah, this is the first boss fight in the game. This is Octofairy. She is weak against lightning and light magic.
This ends now.
So we're gonna hit her with just that. But since Crest doesn't have Nyx Blade, well, this fight will probably take a little bit longer than I'm used to.
I'll take you all on.
This ends now.
But, you know, we should still be able to make this happen somewhat. Okay, that's the first phase done. Now, sadly, this game has a little bit of a bug going on at the moment, where the boss transformations happen like a turn later than they're supposed to. I mean, she still has transformed, we just don't see it until her turn comes around in just a moment here. So do believe me when I say that she's actually looking a little bit different. It's just not showing on screen until, you know, in a moment. Ah, don't stun him.
I'm ready.
See, there we go. This is how our second phase looks.
I'll take
For
you
some
all
weird
on.
reason, there is just this delay going on in the game at the moment. The developers are aware of it and they are about to fix it, but whenever a boss is supposed to phase change, just be aware of the fact that it might take a little bit longer to appear on screen than it should. Because normally how this goes, you deplete their health and then they immediately do the phase change. I mean, you kind of saw it, but it just didn't show on screen. Correctly, that is. Right, that's the first boss fight done. Nice pace going in there. That was actually a gold split, believe it or not. But then again, we also had some bad encounter luck, so I don't know how I feel about this gold split actually. But for now, we're just gonna go back home and now celebrate our victory with some Jaster. Jaster being basically the mini game that you can play in the game. It's kind of inspired by Triple Triad from the Final Fantasy series. It's kind of similar, just instead of cards, you're playing with tokens, as we'll see in just a moment. And we have to do 2 mandatory plays of this during the course of the run. Now, we don't have to win either of these. It's just that if I were to win this one, I would actually get an elixir that I don't need for healing specifically, but it fetches quite a bit of money. So I'm not gonna try too hard to win this match, but it just would be nice if I did. So let's see what we can make happen here. Probably not gonna win this. Nope. Alright. Personally, I think this is a little bit dumb because it's stupidly hard to win this first match. It really just depends on the token placement of the enemy, and if he goes first, you generally will always lose this one. And well, imagine that, he went first, so we lost. Anyway, more story is happening. We are now in the hometown of the Pisces, which are these little fishy dudes, and they're having more troubles. So let's see if we can actually go ahead and try and help them out. First of all, though, we are gonna go to the weapon shop and buy some equipment for us. So we are gonna buy a Nove, we are gonna buy a Mesotherium, we are gonna buy 2 Pervis shields, 3 shell shields, we are gonna buy 2 silk caps, and I don't have enough money for circlets, so we're just gonna go ahead and sell some potions. What else can I sell? Okay. Yeah, see, this is what I was afraid of with the encounters that we got in the sewers, that we just wouldn't have enough money to buy all the stuff that we needed. It was kind of evident ever since I saw that Crest didn't have enough SP to get Nyx Blade. So even though we, just gold split it after the Octofairy fight, we might actually be behind time-wise, because the grinding session that is coming up might take me a little bit longer now, because we didn't get any beneficial encounters during the sewer section. But for now, we're just making our way through the swamps to the first temple. Now, the temple are kind of like the main dungeons in this game. There are 12 temples in total, each one according to one of the 12 zodiac signs. So, we have Pisces, Aquarius, Libra, and so on and so forth. The interesting thing is, though, in order to beat the game, we only have to clear a total of 8 temples. The first 5 temples that you go through are always in the same order, like they are mandatory. However, after that, the game opens up a little bit, and we are actually free to choose which of the other temples we're going to tackle until we have cleared a total of 8. I'm just gonna go back to the sewers now, and we are gonna do our first bit of grinding session as soon as I actually go ahead and switch the equipment of my party here. Just give me a moment that I'm not forgetting anybody. Use guard ring, and then Alec gets another PV shield and a sip cap, and Eco gets a circlet and the shell shield. Okay. Alright, with that out of the way, yeah, we're gonna be grinding a little bit here because I need more SP. Now, what is SP? First of all, if you defeat enemies, they are generally dropping 3 different things. Those things being, well, money, you know, that we use to buy equipment. Then they also give us experience. If you've played an RPG, you should know what experience is. Every time we hit an experience threshold, we gain a level, which increases our stats. Pretty easy, right? However, enemies also give us SP. And SP allow us to unlock nodes on the Ascension tree. And the Ascension tree you can basically think of as the sphere grid from Final Fantasy X, if you've played that game. So not only can we increase the stats of our characters through leveling them up, but also through the Ascension tree. Now, if you do get a quote-unquote normal level up through experience, your stats may increase by between 1 to 3 points, let's say. However, on the Ascension tree, you can unlock nodes that increases your stats by up to 20, which is a massive difference compared to just having level up. And that is basically what carries the run, in that we go ahead and try to, you know, unlock some beneficial nodes for us as quickly as possible to basically superpower our characters like pretty early on already.
We've got this.
Okay, the encounters here are just absolutely atrocious. Right now I'm getting a lot of these Tufa enemies, which means I have to spend a lot of my MP to get rid of them. I mean, it's not too bad at the end of the day because I do have to go to town at one point anyway, but I'd rather not get as many as I'm getting right now. But, well, it's just what it is. Now, this encounter is basically the one encounter that I do want out of all the encounters I can get done here. These 5 rats. Why? Because they have Rally Call. And what Rally Call does is, as you can already see, they summon another rat. And this is very beneficial for us because, as you saw, it takes a while to transition in and out of an encounter. Like it always takes a couple of seconds. So if I can just stay in one encounter for a longer while and get more SP in that one encounter, well, I'm basically saving a little bit of time because I don't have to run around and look for another encounter to get into, where those in and out of transitions will happen again. The problem is, though, it might sound good on paper to just stay in this encounter with the rats and have them summon more allies again and again and again. However, summoning is not all they can do. They can also just attack you or use poison on you. And poison has a really long animation time, so it's really not that beneficial if they use it. So what you want to do is get into the encounter with the 5 rats and just start killing them. Hopefully they will call for a little bit of help, so you can stay in there a little bit longer. But still, you just want to go ahead and kill them at the end of the day.
Leave it to me.
Yeah, see, that's the poison move. It just takes a long while for the animation to go through, wasting quite a bit of time. But nice crit there, Chris. Good job. But yeah, like every enemy generally only will ever give you 1 SP. So the way this works is that we do want to get into encounters with a lot of enemies at once, but also enemies that are not that strong,
My turn.
so that we can easily defeat them. Now obviously bosses and special enemies and stuff like that will give you more SP, but generally speaking, you know, all the normal mobs will only ever give you 1 SP.
Leave it to me.
So, you know, we want quantity over quality here because there are very specific SP thresholds that are needed at certain parts of the game in order to get the abilities that I want. Because that is another thing, you know, you cannot get any abilities or spells like, you know, whether fire spell or water spell or whatever, just through leveling up. You specifically have to get those through the Ascension tree. And since I will need a lot of abilities to carry me through the run, well, you know, I also need quite the amount of SP to be able to grab those abilities.
It's battle time.
So like I said, this is the first grinding session of the run. I have to go through the sewer section in these 4 fights about a total of 8 times. We are now on our 3rd run. And hopefully, after that, I will have a total of 150 SP on Alasia. Now you might wonder, why am I counting the SP on Alasia? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Alasia is the one character that I will never use in battle. And due to that, I can basically trust her total SP, because I will never spend any on her anyway. So if I just go ahead and have a look at her SP amount, I can kinda judge where all my other characters are, and if I have enough SP to grab the abilities with them that I need. Because if one of her characters is dead at the end of a fight, they actually won't gain any SP or XP at all. So their values can kind of start to vary just a little bit over the course of the run, if they were to die, say, during a boss fight. So it's basically, at the end of the day, a bit of a numbers game here. Okay, we are getting critically low on our MP counts here, like Dagmar is completely out. So I guess after this particular run, I will actually have to go back to town, which isn't that detrimental, because I do want to go town at least once during this grind, because we're gonna go ahead and pick up a side quest chain. And man, the game just loves throwing these twofers at me at the moment, isn't it? I think this is actually the last fight where I can go ahead and kill these things, because now I just don't have any SP to fight them anymore. But yeah, as I can imagine, this is basically where a lot of the RNG of the run comes in. Just the enemy configurations that you get during the grinding sessions. They can be very beneficial, or they can be very detrimental to what you're trying to achieve here. Like this. I don't know if I have enough MP anymore to kill you.
Leave it to me.
I just do. So if I see another twofer during this run, I don't think I'll be able to kill it. Which is just great. So please, no more twofers. Stop it, game.
It's battle time.
For the love of God. Okay. Made it. Barely. I don't think I ever cut it this close with my MP ever before. Which is interesting. Sets a bit of a bad precedent for the rest of the run, if you ask me, but then again, maybe I'm just getting all the bad luck out of the way. Hopefully.
Leave it to me. Learned your lesson?
So anyway, this was the 4th run through the sewers, so we should be about halfway done, but since we need to regenerate our MP, I'm just quickly gonna go to town and talk to Orcanon and pick up the one side quest chain that we're actually trying to complete here. Because at the end of it, we get some pretty powerful equipment. So I'm just waiting for the MP to regenerate, and then we are back into the sewers. However, we won't be able to complete that quest chain until about, well, actually pretty near the end of the run, actually, if I think about it. And we're back in the sewers, and we're immediately gonna be thrust into more fights with twofers. Awesome. Could you stop it, game, please? I mean, on the flip side, when you kill a twofer, you generally are set to obtain an ether, which, you know, obviously you can regenerate your MP with. However, ethers, or as restorative items in general, are not that powerful in the beginning of the game. Stop missing, guys. Because the way items work in this game, they're all percentage based. So if you have your, you know, low level potions and ethers, they will always regenerate 30% of your maximum HP or MP. But since we don't have a lot of MP in the beginning of the run, because obviously we are low level, they don't actually restore that much of our spell powers, so to say. So if I were to use an ether now on Dagmar, our mage, I think I would get maybe one more spell cast out of that, maybe two. And, you know, that's not actually a lot. So it's way more beneficial to use the ethers when you have a lot of MP or HP.
Leave it to me. I know we win.
Which we'll actually see once we get to the next grinding session, because I would just chuck ethers like crazy at that point. But more on that when we actually get there.
It's battle time.
Okay, rats, come on. Call for help,
My turn.
please.
No way.
Don't attack. Also don't poison. This is looking a little bit sketchy SP-wise so far. I mean, I don't know where I'm at the moment, but you know, just the general feel that I'm getting from the amount of enemies that we fought so far doesn't feel right.
It's battle time.
So basically, this is the worst thing that can happen to you. You get into a fight with all the load-ins and loadouts, and you're just only fighting one enemy. This is not cost efficient at all. You really hate to see it somehow.
We've got this.
This is a little bit better. There are more enemies in here.
Leave it to me.
So we just can go ahead and strike down.
This ends now.
Because obviously we are also getting stronger and stronger the more we fight down here, because we are gaining levels. So it will get easier and easier to defeat these enemies, but still. I'm not really that concerned about my level, like, at all, ever, during this speedrun. I am basically only ever concerned about my SP, or the amount of SP that I have to go ahead and grab my abilities. Because if you have enough SP to get the abilities that you need, well, your level will probably be on par anyway, because in order to get the SP, you had to kill all these enemies in the first place. So it kind of just evens out over the course of the run.
Leave it to me. Learn
Okay,
your lesson.
that is that done. So after this fight, we will have done 6 runs. And it is just a lonely rat again.
Like that?
Not good. So I think after this run, I will actually go ahead and check my SP totals just to see where we are.
My turn. Feel clear. This ends now.
But for now, let's just concentrate on this.
Absolute victory!
For two first didn't even get an ether. The audacity.
Leave it to me.
And I think I will just be swimming in ethers once I'm done grinding here.
No way.
Probably not really, but I got the idea.
This ends now.
Fire! Like that?
Okay.
We've got this.
Oh, stop it with the single enemies. I need more game. I need way more than that. We're not providing me today. Why? Why is that? What's going on?
It's battle time.
Why? Oh god, more of these. Oh, Jesus Christ. What is going on? Why do you hate me so, game?
Fire!
What have I ever done to you other than speedrunning you? Tell me. What have I ever done to you? Oh, that was already the last fight. Oopsies. So where are we? We are at 124. I need 150. Oh my god, that is not good at all. 25 more. Yeah, so this will be a pretty long running session,
Leave it to me.
as far as I can tell.
This ends now.
But like I said, you know, that is just the G factor of the run that you have to go ahead and bite through. So there will be a total of 3 grinding sessions that we have to do over the course of the run. And, you know, depending on how these go, you're basically not necessarily guaranteed to get a good or a bad run, but they can heavily swing things in or against you. And especially if your characters also keep on missing, that is always lovely to see.
Absolute
Not really?
victory!
But Yeah, we get about, on average, 12 SP per run. And since we're 26 short, I think it was, oh god, not more of these.
Leave it to me. Feel the fear.
I'll probably have to do another 2 runs or so through this.
Hiya!
In order to get the amount that we need. Because the thing is, if I don't get the SP for the abilities that I need here, the next... Oh, God. The next dungeon that we're gonna go through, I'm just gonna run from this and try to get another encounter here. Because this is just ridiculous now.
We've got this.
That is a little bit better. What was I saying? I kinda lost my train of thought here.
Lesson?
Anyway, once more into the breach. We still need 14. Oh yeah, right. We get about 12 SP on average per run. So maybe after this one we're good. Maybe we're not. Arpeggio missing his attack like a champ, costing us more time because the enemy got a turn in. Great stuff. Stop doing that, mister, please.
We've got this.
Maybe I should just use the FP on him.
My turn. Great work.
Also, guys, if you're getting, you know, a little bit tired of Arpeggio's ha-ha, and whenever he gets a turn, well, I may have some bad news for you. Because he's kind of a mainstay over the whole of the run. So, I have to just get used to it at some point.
Feel the fear. This ends now. I knew we'd win.
Okay.
We've got this.
Oh, God.
My turn. Feel the fear.
What is it with the game and these two first today?
No way. This ends now.
Fire.
Learned your lesson.
Okay. How are we looking? 3 more. Okay, can we get 3 more? I'm not going back to chance, so if I see a 2-4, I might... Oh god, we actually got 3.
Leave it to me.
Alright,
Yes.
so we get just the amount that we needed. Alright, back to town then. Actually done with the grinding session. Phenomenal! So let's have a quick talk to Ofa and turn in the first part of the quest. And then we're gonna switch our party around again and go to the Ascension tree. And we'll start learning some abilities. Not number weight. Eco gets this. And 7 of the good raise, okay. And then you get sharp. Okay. Good thing, alright. Done with the grinds, let's continue with the run. So we are back at Pisces Temple, and we're immediately gonna be thrust into a boss fight here. That is basically part of why we did the grind, because this guy really likes to use abilities that hit all of your party at once. And if you don't have Eco's Omnicure ability, well, you are in for a world of hurt here. Also, since Dagmar is a lot stronger now, he will just deal massive amounts of damage. Like, watch this. Like, he deals about 3,000 damage with one cast. And if you compare that to the damage that all your other characters are dealing at this point, that is a massive increase. He'll deals about like 5 to 10 times as much. His kill? Yeah, woo. That was a very fast fight. Do like me that. And that was really a flawless encounter, because I don't know who designed this boss, but he is a little bit of a lunatic, I think. Because what this enemy does on his second turn, he uses an ability that hits your whole party and it has a chance to confuse everybody for 3 turns. So you lose control over your characters for 3 turns if they get confused. And since it hits your whole party, you know, you can just sit there and basically die. There's nothing you can do about it because you can only get 1 confused guard ring that we picked up in the sewers before this boss fight. And this boss that we're now fighting is basically the second worst one, because she can stun your whole group, which is basically the same thing. You lose control over your character for another 3 turns. And all the little guys, the ads, you know, they all can confuse your party too. So depending how this first turn goes, it's looking pretty good so far. Hopefully I'm just gonna jinx it. Yeah, that was pretty good. I'll do like that.
My turn now.
So we might actually have a fighting chance here because everybody behaved. Once again, they are weak to lightning. But since we grinded in the sewers, we now have Omnifire, and a powered up Omnifire just gets rid of everybody but the boss herself. So we are in a very good spot
I'll take you all on.
so far, as long as she doesn't use Omni Stun.
Whoops.
Thunder.
Cure is fine, it makes the fight drag on a little bit, but it is way better than the alternative.
This ends now.
Let me tell you that. Okay. Okay, she summoned an ad, which, yeah,
I'll take you all on.
generally don't want to see at the tail end of the fight, but it's gonna be fine. She should die through this. And that was pretty much a flawless fight. Okay, it actually looks like we did get all the bad RNG out of the run in the sewers for now, so that's pretty nice to see. And here we get the second ring power, the water ability. What that means is at these tablets we can now grab a little bit of water and put it in other tablets in order to, yeah, solve more puzzles. Just like this. We're making our way over, and we are on our way to the end of the temple, where we will have another boss fight. Yes, this game really does like its boss fights. There are a lot of them. Also, you might hear or not hear that the music has cut out. This is actually a bug that is going on at the moment. The developers are aware of it, and I think a patch will deploy very shortly. But from time to time, the in-game audio will just completely cut out, or it won't cut out, but it will be very, very quiet. So it probably won't pick up. So, you know, apologies if sometimes there's just no music. It's just a bug going on at the moment. We're gonna try and skip this boss fight, because we were supposed to fight Anon again, but I think it was too early.
Got this.
Yeah, okay, we didn't get it. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and try this until we get it, because even though this seems like it is the same boss from before, it's kinda not, because he has become a lot harder, and I kinda don't want to fight him. We're just gonna load the autosave, and I'm trying to get this skip until I get it, because it can save a lot of time. It's actually not that hard to do. Just a little bit on the nose right now, I guess. Ah, it's just a tad too early. Okay. So there's no way out of this fight quickly, so we just have to wait for Dagmar to get his turn, and then use Omnifire on all of us to kill my characters off. I mean, this helps, but it doesn't kill, so basically just wastes time. So basically what I'm trying to do here, the boss fight has a very specific trigger on the ground, and I kind of want to go to the menu, you know, hit the menu button and trigger the encounter at the same time. Okay, this was too late.
It's battle time.
So as you can tell, this is quite finicky, but it is way better, way better than the alternative. Because what would happen if I were to fight this guy normally is, he would be up to his old shenanigans, you know, like we did at the beginning of this temple. But then he would also have a second phase, and the second phase of that fight is brutal. absolutely brutal. It's really harsh to get through. So I'd rather not have to deal with that. Okay, there we go. Got it. Perfect. Nicely done. So yeah, just by, you know, going to the menu and triggering that fight simultaneously, you get the ability to just walk through that guy and continue with the game as a happy little camper. No strings attached. I mean, you don't get the experience and stuff, but I don't need those at the moment. So, or rather, I have planned for it during our grinding session in the sewers. So this is no biggie. And since we've completed our first temple, we now have access to the job menu. So we are gonna go ahead and make Ulan a Black Mage and Arpeggio a Dark Knight. Octan Valley. And why we did that, well, you will see in a moment. Because keep in mind, Arpeggio is our fastest character.
This'll be over quick.
So that means he will generally always go first. And since we have saved all this SP that we have gotten during the grind in the sewers, he now has access to Omni Forcior, which is an ability that hits all the enemies with force. Now, force is a neutral element. There is basically no defense against it. However, it also cannot exploit weaknesses, so, you know, there is this drawback to it. However, this ability is so powerful at this stage in the game that it basically one-shots every single normal enemy. And that is basically what we're gonna do for a long while now. So basically we have to fight start, immediately get Arpeggio's turn, use Omni Forcior, and that is it. That is the power of grinding, ladies and gentlemen. Now I could use Ethers here to quicken up Arpeggio's MP regeneration. However, I will need quite a few Ethers in the next section of the game, and I don't have a lot of money at the moment. So I'd rather just sit in the menu a little bit and wait for him to passively regenerate. I mean, it doesn't take that long. So we're good here, so just check. Okay, Crest can get Ice Blade. It's phenomenal, so we can switch Iku out for her. And continue on our merry way.
Where is he?
So we have another boss fight coming up against Argon. Now, Argon is basically the fire Astray. He's weak against ice. So we're gonna go ahead and try to exploit that by defense break. This lowers his defense and magic defense by quite a bit. We'll always use Omni Mute on the first turn. It hit the right characters, which is fantastic, so we can now use Ice Blade with Crest on him. Get a little bit of damage and FP on him. With that, we're gonna use a remedy on Ulan that we actually don't need to. Ooh. Wow, okay. Never had that happen before. And since Ulan is a black mage now, she just deals ludicrous amount of damage because she has access to a level 3 ice spell. Okay, Tsunami Fire. Wow, this fight is going phenomenally well. The drawback is, since this is level 3 ice spell, it uses so much MP that we can only ever use it once before Ulan is just completely out of MP. Because you're not exactly supposed to get it this early.
Where could he be?
Okay, that was the boss. But don't worry, he too will be back a little bit later. But now we're just gonna go back to Yuna. The half goddess. Oh no, she's the goddess, not the half goddess. What am I even talking about? Have a little chant. Turns out that the Octans, the cat people, are having a little bit of trouble in their world. So let's go visit the Octans in Austin. So guys, if you like cat girls, well, here you go.
Wow.
The people
Yeah.
have such piercing gazes.
Some buff cat people and some lovely cat ladies. Something for everybody here. So this is where Dagmar is originally from.
Plus, it's not like the Artisans did slaughter a bunch of Merry.
Basically his hometown, he wants to visit his family, it's not there, so we're gonna buy some ethers. Because, as I said before, we will need a lot of ethers now. Because guess what? We are kind of getting into the next grinding session here. Not immediately, but this is the area where we will do our second grind. Because the enemies here are very beneficial to grind. Because what can happen here is you can get into an encounter with 8 bug enemies that are very easy to defeat. And, you know, since there are 8 enemies, we get 8 SP out of that, which is basically the most amount that we can get out of an encounter anywhere for a long while, making this a very beneficial grinding spot. Because once again, SP is really the only thing that we really care about when we do fight an encounter. And since we get the most amount here, well, we're just gonna grind it out for a while. First of all, we're gonna make our way through the Blazing Sands until we get to the halfway teleporter. And this is the encounter that I was talking about, you know, against these 8 bugs right here, right now. I want to see a lot of those fights if I can. Once again, it is up to RNG. So we might, but we also might not.
We've got this.
But yeah, once again, you know, Omniforcio is a pretty powerful spell, but it also costs a lot of MP for us at the moment. We can only ever get in one use before I have to chuck an ether Arpeggio's way to replenish his MP. So I do have to remind myself to actually do that. So after every fight, just use at least one ether on Arpeggio to get his MP up again.
Like that.
Well, luckily, this problem will kind of sort out itself in just a little while once we've gone through this area, like about 2 times or so. Because then we will actually have enough SP to vastly increase Arpeggio's MP pool.
It's battle time.
Okay, another 8 bucks, that's good. But, as I said earlier, I forgot to use an ether, so even though this would have been a very beneficial encounter for us, I kinda couldn't take advantage of it because I'm a dum-dum. So probably this will be another encounter now, just to spite me, of course it is. Ah! See, this is why you have to be on top of your game when you're speedrunning this.
It's over.
Okay. I mean, probably won't matter in the great scheme of things, it's just, you know, the amount of time it takes to get into the encounter, out of the encounter, and then do the encounter. And to replenish, yeah. I hate to see it, but it just happens from time to time. Okay, we're gonna take another fight here. That will be the first round of the grind done. So we need to do this round about 5 times to get to the total SP amount that we need. And you can basically just see my amounts of ethers like get drastically reduced. Like we bought about 50 of those things, or rather up to 50, because we know we had about 20 or so in our inventory before we started the grind here. And those will get depleted like very quickly. Now another thing that actually factors into the grind are the weather effects, because you might see that we are actually in a kind of sandstorm right now, which is the bad weather effect for this area. So I think every area in the game has like 2 weather effects it can have. A good weather effect, which is basically just sunny weather, and a bad weather effect like a rainstorm, sandstorm, you know, stuff like that. And the weather actually affects the encounters that you can get. Generally speaking, during bad weather, you know, sandstorms, thunderstorms, etc., you will get encounters with fewer but stronger enemies. And during sunny weather, you will get encounters with weaker but more enemies. And since every enemy in the game you know, generally speaking, once more, tends to only give you 1 SP when you kill them, and we need a lot of SP for the speedrun to grab the abilities that we want. We kinda always want to fight in sunny weather as possible to give us a better chance of getting into encounter with a lot of enemies that are easy to kill. However, yeah, we are fighting in the sandstorm at the moment, so luck once again not exactly on our side here. So we just have to go ahead, grit our teeth and bear it. So let's just hope the weather gets a little bit better soon. Now, technically, you can just cycle back between 2 areas, because the weather only ever changes when you go through a door or go to a next area. And I want to say that it's just a coin flip of one weather effect happening over the other, but according to my runs, I think the bad weather effects are way more prevalent than the good weather ones. Might just be confirmation bias on my part, but it definitely feels that way. Let me check. I need 120 SP on Arpeggio. We have 101. So about 19 more.
We've got this.
Oh. Getting a lot of bugs, which is actually pretty beneficial for us. Now, if you're fighting here during good weather, there are basically only 2 encounters that you can get. One is the encounter with the 8 bugs that we've had, which is basically the most beneficial one that we can get. Or you can get one with 2 bugs and 2 wolves, which is also kinda okay-ish. So on average, you are getting, you know, 6 SP per fight here, which isn't too bad. There are way worse totals that you can get in other areas. But there's also a 3rd encounter that you can get, which is against a Miglov. Miglov is a single enemy that you will fight, and you can kind of think of them as the metal slimes from Dragon Quest. So they are very hard to hit, they have very high defense. However, if you manage to kill them, you're also getting a buttload of experience and SP, which makes them, you know, highly valuable for our exploits here. So I kinda hope that we actually go ahead and face a couple of those, because I could definitely need the boost. But it's also a very small chance of actually getting them, so, you know, it might not happen. Or it might. Who knows? I don't. Maybe the game does. And again, probably even it doesn't. Getting a lot of good weather now though, which is nice.
We've got this.
Oh, there we go. And we even got a preemptive. But I forgot to fill up on my... okay, let's see if we can still get this. Somehow, please. Oh wait, I think Ula might be able to kill it. Please? Yes! Ah! Okay. Whew. Oh, that was clutch. See, this is why you have to stock up on your MP. Because normally what I was supposed to do here is just use the GOC ability with Arpeggio. Now what GOC actually does is it bypasses enemy defense because Miglovs resist everything. And it uses the HP of your allies as the damage it does. So all of your allies, except Arpeggio, will get reduced to 1 HP. And all the HP it drains, it just gets dealt as damage to the enemy. And it bypasses every resistance the enemy might have. And that is how you generally supposed to fight those Miglovs. But since I'm a dum-dum, I forgot to fill up on Arpeggio's MP, so I wasn't able to use that ability. But luckily, we were still powerful enough to just kill it, well, basically the normal way. But yeah, you know, you saw there like Ulan casted hell level 3 ice magic on that thing. And it only did like, what, 70 damage or something? Whereas just a little bit earlier it dealt damage in the thousands against the boss enemy that we were facing. So yeah, it's not easy to kill these things. Absolutely isn't. Okay, but we killed one, that's good. That's definitely a nice boost, because they give us 20 SP, which is a lot at this point in the game. Also, you might have noticed that I went to the Ascension tree and grabbed a note for Arpeggio, which increases his MP by 310. Now, before that, he had about 120 MP, I think it was. So we about quadrupled his MP total. And this basically allows us now to go through these areas and kill the enemies like we did before. However, I don't have to go to the menu after every single fight and chuck him in ether. I can just conveniently do it at the end of each run to fill him up. So just in case I haven't made this point clear enough at this point, you know, SP routing, drastically important during this one.
It's battle time.
Okay, another $8, it's good. This is what we want to see. Well, that or another Miglov, which would be lovely. Now, another thing is, we actually got lucky when we fought the Miglov, because we got the preemptive strike, which means all of our characters get to act first before the enemy gets a turn. Because at this point, they are fast enough to out-turn us, and there are two things that a Miglov will do to you. The one thing is, it will cast Omni Cure MP on your party, which replenishes a part of your MP, which is lovely. Absolutely love seeing that. The other thing that they can use is Flee. And then they make you flee the fight, and you are shit out of luck. And I used the wrong ability there. Okay, let's get out of here, because I don't have enough MP to use another one. Everybody is at very low health now. And then we're just gonna try this again.
We've got this.
So sometimes the game has a little bit of an input lag going on, where it just does not scroll through the ability that you actually want to use. And I kind of noticed it a little bit too late this time. This is why I used Godi instead of the Omniforcior. And all of my HP got reduced to 1, except on Arpeggio. So this fight wouldn't have gone great if I had tried to fix this, because Arpeggio was also out of MP at that point. So that is why I just decided to run there. Anyway, if we are lucky, this should be the last time we have to run through this area for now. So once we are done with this particular one, I will check my SP total and see where we stand. So for this particular grind, we are looking for a total of 440 SP on Alasia.
It's battle time.
Just as a point of reference. I think we're getting about 40 SP per run through this area, if I'm remembering correctly. So depending on how far away we are from the 440, we might have to run through this area again. Also, if you're interested in these kind of things, I do have my splits up for this particular one. And my timer is actually telling me that we are on pace for a 3 hour, 33 minutes and 33 second run. So, you know, maybe we can make this happen.
We've got this.
If RNG permits.
It's battle time.
Okay, I'm kind of feeling like we have to go through this area once more. Because I don't think we got enough bug encounters. We need 440. We're at 397. That's definitely the lower end of the spectrum there. So we have to go through this at least once more. Maybe on chat or another time as well. You know what would help with that? A Miglov game. How about it? Can we get a Miglov today? And we've only had one. But what about a second one?
It's battle time. Great work. It's battle time. We've got this.
Oh, come on, game. I need more bugs.
Absolute victory.
A whole lot more, please. Miglovs would be also great.
It's battle time.
Starting to look like I have to run through this area once more after this run. Because we are not getting the luck that we need to make this go fast. Unless we get a Miglov now, that doesn't run away. How about a game?
It's battle time.
No? No. Okay then. So we need 17 more to hit the threshold. It's quite a lot actually. So at least 3 fights unless we get a Miglov.
We've got this.
This doesn't help.
Absolute victory.
We need 14 more. Also, like I said, you know, we are fighting in these sandstorms, like... I don't want to say all the time, we've had some sunny weather, but it is so prevalent to fight in bad weather. It's, god.
We've got this. Great work.
Hey! As soon as I complain about it, we get the sunny weather.
It's battle time.
And the bugs. Coolio. Also, I lost count, but I still think we need one more encounter. Right? Yeah, we need 3 more. The next encounter should give us what we need here.
We've got this.
Alright, yeah. Actually, a little bit over after this one. Not that I'm complaining. Okay. Grind done. We can continue. And how do we do that? By going to town and having a shopping trip. So... we need Omni Potions, Omni Potion Plus, we need more Ethers again. And then we're gonna go to the weapon shop.
Welcome.
Gonna buy a Vanth, buy a Botane, gonna buy a Bezek, gonna buy an Algafar, gonna buy 1 Mirror Shield, gonna buy an Arcton Helm and a Runicat, Gonna buy 3 Pisces plates and 2 Pisces armors. We're gonna equip everything on our people here. It's the boating. Just gets the Pisces plate. Doesn't get anything. You get a Pisces plate and the Bezek. You get the Vanth, another Pisces plate. Gonna go to the Ascension tree. Gonna grab more upgrades. Got this, and you don't have enough for this. You're gonna get a whole bunch of stuff. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, what am I doing? On the arrow, and then go gets raise, HP in the area, magic defense, 1 for 1, and fierceness. Okay. All right, done with the grind. We can continue. Sweet. Now keep in mind, we are not done with all the grind yet. We have to go through one more grinding session, but for now we just can continue with the game a little bit. And we're gonna have a boss fight against these 4 dudes. So let's see how they treat us. Okay, doesn't have to kill anybody just yet. Maybe this will help. Yep, there we go. Pretty nice. Nice, easy, quick fight. That is how you want to see that one. Now, even though I'm technically not grinding at the moment, I still want to go ahead and grab every encounter along the way, because, you know, we're still in the same area as we were when we grinded, so we can still get the same encounters. And since I alluded to it earlier, we have to go through one more grinding session a little bit later. So I just want to go ahead and grab as many enemies as I can along the way in order to make that grind go by a little bit faster.
Great work.
Also, watch the damage numbers. We are dealing a whole lot of damage to these guys now. Okay, quickly top up on MP because we have another boss fight coming up. And hey, it's the guy from before again. So let's see if you can get through this once more. Start with Death's Break as always. Cast Omnimute, so who got muted? Okay, so what we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna use a Remedy on Oolong. We absolutely need to do that. You can just go ahead and focus. And you can go ahead and use Isis. I guess you can just go ahead and attack him. Yeah, that pushes him into the second phase.
This ends now.
Cress is muted. So I guess you can just focus for now. As he casts Omnimute again, he mutes Ulan as expected, but that is why we have Dagmar, so you can use another Remedy on Ulan. And one more cast of Isis should put him into phase 3, hopefully. Not quite. But he's in phase 3 now. Okay, his weakness changes from ice to physical attacks now. Interestingly enough.
This ends now.
So we just hit him a bunch. Flip our FP. Then we switch our party out to our physical attackers. Now we're just gonna wail on him mercilessly.
I'll take you all on. Look.
So that pushes him into phase 4. Yes, this guy has 4 phases here to get through.
Leave it to me. Why?
My turn now.
This fight should be over momentarily.
My turn.
There we go. That's the fight done. So yeah, enemies that are weak to physical attacks are just really, you know, sent up from heaven, so to speak, because they are so easy to get through. And now this one, the story Eco, our little fishy friend here, gets kidnapped. So we actually do not have him in the party at the moment, but since we're not using him right now, it doesn't matter too much to us.
It's battle time.
But obviously we want him back. So we now have to make our way through Aries temple. Not only to get Eco back, but also, you know, to progress the story. So these goals just happen to align. Once again, you would get some lovely background music, but due to the audio bug going on in the game at the moment, we sadly won't be able to hear it. Okay, the big guy survived by just a hair. We have Area Blade to get rid of him.
We've got this.
Fight against these guys are always a little bit of a meh thing, because they will generally survive one Omniforcior. However, on the flip side, they do give 2 SP apiece, so I'm actually getting 4 SP out of that fight, so it's still okay to fight them. Just a rather much have other enemies to fight, so the fight goes by quicker. Okay, this is the Mick Thief. He's the one who kidnapped Eco. So we deal with him by focusing 3 times. And then blasting his ass with ice.
Like that.
And that is that fight done with. However, he escapes, so we now have to go through the temple again in order to find him. Yo, Ellie! I spot somebody in the chat that I know and love. How you doing?
Got this.
Hope you're well. So you have to be careful with these, you know, broken bridges, because they can very easily fall down. And obviously I don't want that to happen to me, because it would mean I would have to go through this temple again.
Battle time.
So this is the second fight against Mick Thief. Basically the same strategy applies. Focus on everybody to build up FP. And then blast him with a full powered ICS. And our reward? It's not eco, but it is the firepower for our ring. So we can now fire, well, fire projectiles to burn these barricades. Now, this is a little trick. You can initiate this fight while jumping, and that makes it so you will actually fall down once the fight concludes. What am I doing? I should have just... oh well. And that will basically land you down on the teleporter that you need to activate for way later in the run. It's just a little bit of an optimization here. Because if you drop down first and then go into the fight, the enemy is like at the edge of the platform, so if you engage that fight, you will fall down anyway again. So it's just nice to do that.
It's over.
You've got work tomorrow. Oh no! Don't have work tomorrow. Tomorrow's a holiday. I feel for you.
Time.
Because I have the day off. Anyway, like I said, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab all these fights. Because we still need more SP. Not in retail, yeah. That is the sad reality of things, isn't it? Okay, we have to play hide and seek with a Mick Thief once more. I promise this will be the last time. So there are a bunch of these vases this time around, so we just have to find the correct ones that he's hiding in. Now luckily he always hides in the exact same ones every time we play this. We come up here, look for him there, and then he's over here, and once more to the left. Now we're gonna chop up everybody on MP, and we will actually fight him for the last time now. So, since we actually have to deplete all of his HP this time, we didn't do that the last couple of times, we only had to put him below 50%. We'll actually employ our proper strategies. And there he goes. Okay, and with that, we put an eco into the group. We go to our ascension tree. And we're gonna grab Waterers. More agility for Arpeggio. And then a whole bunch of stuff for Caden, actually. Let's see if we have enough to do so. We actually do. Awesome.
It smelled quite fishy where I was locked away.
Like you mean?
Don't you ever get fed up of mocking me?
No Echo, Arpeggio will never get fed up of mocking you. I can vouch for that. This is going for the whole game.
Let's fight.
Okay, boss fight. Looks intimidating, right?
Let me help.
It's really not so bad.
Ready. Water!
Yeah, as you can see. That is the power of Black Mage Ulan, ladies and gentlemen. She is a beast. So now that we're back in town, we're actually gonna take the opportunity to go back to Ophern and have a little chat with that guy. Because we actually completed a part of his quest. And we're actually gonna go ahead and start the next part as well. So we're gonna go back to the Central Plaza, trigger this cutscene, and then go back to him to start the next part already. And then we are going to Zeft Heights. Because once again, we have trouble in Harmonia. This time in the part where the Zefts live, which are these lizard people that Cress is part of. But for now, same strategies as always apply. Just have Arpeggios only force your. And be done with it. And don't worry guys, The run won't always look like this. There will actually come a time when our pager won't be able to use this ability anymore to make the fights go by quicker for us. At one point or another, the game or the power levels of the enemy will catch up with us, and it won't be so easy anymore to get through fights.
Some battle.
Which is always the part where the run starts to get scary. Because this being an RPG speedrun, there will come a point where we'll be vastly underleveled to the challenges that we will face. I mean, in fact, we are kinda underleveled already. It's just that we have meticulously planned out our SP usage so that we can still get by. And we are done with the boss fight. By now you should know how this works. We're gonna use our pager for the defense break to lower his defense and magic defense.
I'm ready.
Gonna build a little bit of focus. And then just go ahead and absolutely blast him with his elemental weaknesses. A little bit sad that our pager died there, actually. Let's hope that doesn't come back and bite me in the behind. Because even the character is dead at the end of a fight, they don't get any experience, but most importantly, they don't get any SP. I want to go to the tower entrance at the central plaza. I don't know. So our pager just missed out on these 10 SP. I mean, it should still be good.
Goddess unit collapsed.
Artisan. Gracias.
But it's just something to keep in mind. But yeah, we took care of the trouble in Harmonia, so now we are gonna go to the Grand Canyon, where the Zephs live, and see if everything is alright over there. Because if you haven't, you know, caught on to how this basically functions, you have trouble in one part of the town that relates to one of the different races. And all the characters then conduct, hey, we had part in this particular part of town concerning this race. Maybe we should go back to the hometown of this race and check how things are progressing there. And this Mikolov encounter came at a very opportune moment for us, because, you know, as I just said before, a pager might have been a little bit behind on SP, and he might not be anymore now. Very fortunate. And if you guys think that I say SP a lot during this run, that should just tell you how important this actually is. Because I've definitely pulled out my hair trying to make this route work and happen. Which, you know, also leads me into another point of discussion. I am, at the moment, the only active runner of this game. There is one other person who has ever submitted a run for this game. So if you at all think that this run might interest you, please do reach out to me. I will happily share my notes with you. This is the first, basically the first RPG that I not only run, but I also routed myself, so all the strategies employed here, it all comes down to me at the end of the day. And, you know, I could definitely use a hand or two to maybe iron out some of the kinks happening here. So if you have any idea how things could be improved, how they could be made faster, please let me know. Because I'm basically at wit's end at this point.
Stronger and stronger.
I mean, to be fair, I haven't tried out everything yet. But, you know, there is a lot to experiment with. And I simply lack the time to try out every single permutation that you can think of. And come on, guys, this game just looks absolutely gorgeous, doesn't it? It's a painting in motion, literally.
Noises feel like a distant memory.
Cress, have you returned home since you became a demigod?
Anyway, we've nearly made it to Ronta now.
I've been fighting with all of you this whole time. I've had no reason to return.
So we go into the item shop as always. We are in need of some ethers. I don't need any omni ethers, but I could just buy anyway. And then, oops, enter the weapon shop. Buy Rassalas. Buy 2 Kangs. And a Sham. Buy 2 bucklers. And then a cotton mantle and 2 cotton ropes. Okay. Now we're gonna meet Cress's mother, who will once again challenge us to a duel of Jaster. Doesn't matter if we win or lose, just gotta get through it. Oinks, we won. Okay, with that out of the way, we are good to leave the town again. And now we can make our way over to Virgo Temple.
Well, I guess this isn't paradise after all, huh?
So like I said before, the first 3 temples that you visit during the game are always, the first 5 temples that you visit during the game are always in the same order. There's nothing you can choose here.
Why do you say that with
This will be the 3rd one that we'll visit. Only 2 more to go before we can do as we please. Hooray! Exciting. Well, technically 3 because you haven't completed that temple yet, so yeah.
I'm not happy.
Give me a break.
We won't lose! Ha ha! I'm not one to complain, but the temple is farther than I thought.
That just means there's more fun to be had along the way.
Alright, now that we're here, we're immediately gonna go back to the Blazing Fields. You might remember this area. It is where we did the grind earlier. It should already tell you something about what is about to go down here. Because yeah, we have basically reached the part where we do the largest grind in the game. But before we do that, I actually have to come over here and pick up this item, because this is the next quest in Opheron's side quest string. Just have to defeat these enemies, no biggie. And just fight this enemy too.
Let's fight.
To have them out of the way. And now begins the largest grinding session in the game. We have finally made it here, because we need a total of 1,200 SP on Alasia. Just a reminder, we are up to about maybe 600 to 700 or so on her. So yeah, we will do a lot of fights here. This will take about half an hour or so, so around the 2-hour mark. We will be done with this, hopefully. So yeah, this is definitely the part where the run gets very, very comfy. Because what you also notice me doing is I'm not even moving anymore. I can just summon enemies at will. And the way I do that is, you saw me grab a whole lot of abilities with Kaden, because her base job, the Explorer job, has an ability called Monster Bait. And if you equip that skill, or support ability as it's called, you can get into a random fight whenever you press up on the D-pad. So we will just stand here and summon enemies for half an hour and kill them. because, you know, it's obviously way quicker to do this than to having to walk around on the world map in order to, you know, find the next encounter. And it's still gonna take this long. Now, the reason why we need to do this particular grind is the temple that is coming up after Aries temple, which will be a Leo temple, because that particular temple is special out of all the other temples, because it's not necessarily a dungeon that you're going to explore, but it's more of a Colosseum fight thing, where you have to fight 4 series of 4 battles each, and you don't get to heal or replenish anything between fights. You know, just at the amount of health and mana and whatnot that you have at the end of one fight, that will transfer over into the next fight, and it can be absolutely brutal to get through that if you don't have the power level for it. And conveniently enough, since we're doing that grind, well, you know, all the other characters will also be pretty powerful, so you don't have to do any more grinding after that. Because the main thing that I'm going to look out for here is to get enough agility on Arpeggio so he can outspeed all the enemies in the Colosseum. So that's basically, you know, the idea behind this grind. So we need to grab a lot of agility tokens on the Ascension tree, which we need a lot of SP for. So how this grind works is I will just, you know, chain fights until Arpeggio runs out of MP. Once he does, we'll obviously go to the menu and replenish his SP, and that will be 1 round of grinding. And we need to do this about 10 to 12 times total. Now we've done it 2 times, so there is still a lot of grinding left to do here. Now obviously we can run into Miglovs once again while we do this. That will be absolutely fantastic, because it obviously speeds up the progress quite a bit. I generally average about 6 of them during the grind, or like in total up until this grind is done. You know, we've already faced one a little bit earlier, which was great, but we need more. Also, let's maybe take the opportunity to talk about the battle system, because I haven't explained anything about that just yet. So, well, on a foundational level, it basically works like any RPG fighting style that you know. You know, if you played anything like Final Fantasy or Breath of Fire, Dragon Quest, whatever. The thing that makes it special is the focus system. So you've seen me use that during other boss fights already, where a character was just, you know, focusing a little bit, and then I was able to power up other attacks. And that is because of the focus points. So if you have a look during a fight, in the upper right and left corner, you will see these crystals with a number in the center. In the upper right, the yellow ones, those are my focus points, and in the upper left, we have the enemy team's focus points. You can have a maximum of 10 stored focus points. Everything after that will basically just go to waste. And then you can use your focus points to empower the abilities that you use during a fight. So I can use up to 4 FP per ability that I use. And every focus point that I use on one ability or one attack increases its effectiveness by 50%. So with 4 FP used on a single ability, that increases its damage output, for example, by a total of 300%. You know, the 100% it would normally do, plus the 200 from the focus points. Which is a lot, as you can imagine. So the question obviously arises, how do you manage your focus points? Well, you basically gain 2 FP that every time you hit an enemy's weakness. And that is why it is so critically important to hit the weaknesses of your enemies, because not only does it deal more damage, it also grants you FP to deal even more damage. If you hit a resistance though, it decreases your FP by 1. If you hit a nullification, it decreases it by 2. And if you hit an absorption, I think it decreases it by 5. Oh, we got a Miglov, and it stays around. Thank you very much. Please die. So basically what that is saying is you do want to have, you know, the quote-unquote right abilities for the right fights in this game to make them go faster. Because not only will it increase the damage output, well, it will increase the damage output, let's just put it this way, because you're hitting the weaknesses and you're gaining FP to hit the weaknesses even harder. which is very nice. However, you know, if you are not able to hit an enemy's weakness, you are in for a world of hurt because the fights will just start to drag out phenomenally. And that is basically the, you know, battle system in this game in gist. As I explained earlier, the force belts actually deal non-elemental damage, so they don't factor into the system. Which is a blessing and a curse, because you don't have to worry about the resistances on one hand, but you also won't gain any FP or make them particularly strong on the other hand, so after a while they will just fall off and damage output quite heavily. Because you cannot hit the weaknesses anymore. And at that point, well, Arpeggio also starts to run out of steam during the run, and we will replace him with somebody else. But it is not this time, because this is the grinding section, where we use him a freaking ton.
Not as tough as a demigod. Stay alert.
Like that?
Got something tasty.
Well, apart from that, oh yeah, we also have the job system that I haven't explained earlier. So how the job system works is that every one of your 8 characters has a base job, and that one is unique to that particular character. No other character can ever get that base job. And we encountered a Migala, but it made us flee. A little bastard. How dare you?
This'll be over quick.
Oh wait, that actually reminds me. Hold on a second. Does Arpeggio have 230? He does. Okay, let's quickly go to him and give him more agility. And now Arpeggio actually should have enough agility to be able to outspeed the Migalas. Every time we encounter them now, we should be able to always go first and kill them. So it's not a random chance anymore if we're able to get those lovely SP anymore, which is very nice. Anyway, job system. The base jobs are unique to your characters. Now, apart from the base job, every character can pick up a main job, a sub job, and a support job. And every character also has a selection of 3 jobs that he can slot into those job slots, let's call them. So for example, Ulan can become either a black mage, a harnesser, or a guardian. Now if you were to select, as we did, the black mage as her main job, she cannot select the black mage again as her sub job or her support job. And depending on which job you slot into which slot, it kind of changes what is available to you from that particular job. Now since we have black mage as the main job, we get access to everything the black mage job has to offer. You know, all the spells, all the stat increases, etc, etc. And it also changes the sprite or the look of the character, as you can see with the Ulan and Arpeggio, and also the equipment that they can equip. Now for the sub job, if you were to slot in black mage as the sub job, you will only gain access to the abilities, that is the spells of that particular job, not the stat increases and also not the passive abilities. Same thing with the support job. If you were to put the black mage in the support job role, you would only gain access to the black mage's passive skills. And you know, that makes it kind of interesting on how you build your characters. Because once you have selected a job for a slot, there is no way to undo that selection. You are locked into that for the rest of the game. So, you know, you should be really sure about what you pick when with what character. As I know, a lot of people have already complained about that to the developer, but they stand firm with their decision of not having that be reversible. So you just gotta roll with it. But this also means that I will be very, very careful when selecting jobs so I don't accidentally grab the wrong one, because it could totally screw over the run. Now you might wonder, why are we making Ulan into a black mage? Because, you know, When we started out, she had this big shield and this lance, and she looks more like a tank character.
Stay alert.
Well, it's a bit of a trap, I want to say, getting her into the Guardian role, which would be a quote-unquote better tanking role. Because how damage in this game is calculated is it scales exponentially. What I mean by that is, if, for example, and I'm totally making up those numbers right now. If an enemy has 100 defense and you would have 200 attack, and, you know, for example, he would deal double the damage, right? If you were to increase your attack stat to 300, you would deal 3 times the damage. You would, in fact, deal, for example, like 5 times the damage, because it scales exponentially. So you want to, you know, put all your points into a single attack stat, so you just deal massive amounts of damage. Now, Ulan actually has a passive skill called 1-for-1 that passively increases her magic attack stat by 30%, which is a lot. And that is why she will always outperform on a magic level. For example, Dagmar, you know, the big guy in the back, who is actually our sorcerer type. He's actually dealing the elemental damage, or has been dealing the elemental damage in the start of the run. But since he does not have access to 1-for-1, he starts to fall behind in damage pretty quickly, rather. I mean, he does kinda make up for it with his fierceness skill, which makes it so that he has a 50% chance to cast the same spell he just did for free. But since this is a second separate damage calculation, it just does pitiful amounts of damage compared to one big spell from Ulan. So, you know. Ulan is bait. That's all I can say. Because it rhymes, you know it's right.
Don't underestimate us. Focus on the battle.
Another thing that's starting to make me really sad is the fact that we are basically not getting a lot of Migelovs this time around. I mean, we've killed, what, 2 totals so far? Which is, like, very, very bad. I need more of those dudes. I mean, we're getting a lot of bugs. That's kind of nice, but... Migelovs? Please?
Great work.
I'm basically saying this because we are now 7 rounds deep into the grind.
Stay alert.
So optimally, we'd have to do another 4 to 5, but since I'm not getting a lot of Migelovs, might have to do more. But we will know soon-ish.
It's over. Let's do it.
Oh, there we go. Asking shall receive, I suppose. Yeah, and our pager is faster than them now, so we can always kill them when they show up. Lovely. I do keep in mind, this costs all the HP on our other characters. And since we can actually get surprised, just like this is exactly why I used that Omni Potion. Because of this situation here, where we get surprised by these 8 bugs, who will now proceed to absolutely murder us. Because not only do they deal quite good amount of damage, since all of them get to act first before us, this will also take quite a while. So this is a pretty big time loss. And sadly, there's nothing I can do about this.
I'm fine.
You just have to go and take the hits. Because that is an interesting thing that I would really like the developers to get rid of. There are 2 ways basically to enter a fight.
Let's do this.
Yeah, 2 ways. One is you slash them with your sword, as you've seen me doing basically every time I was out on the field, right? And if you slash an enemy with your sword, what can happen is you can either start the fight as normal, you know, just like now, or you and you also have a higher chance to get a preemptive strike, right? Preemptive strike meaning that all your characters get to act first before the enemy even gets a turn in. So when you hit an enemy with your sword, it's either a normal battle or it is a preemptive strike. If you run into an enemy, it can also be a normal fight, you know, where we take turns, one after the other, or it can be a surprise attack where all the enemy forces get to go first before you. Now, since I am using the monster bait ability, I can't hit the enemies with my sword beforehand because it's a fight trigger. So that means the only two outcomes I can have with initiating fights using monster bait is either a normal fight or a surprise attack. And I have no control over either of these. So if I were to be surprise attacked at a very inopportune time where I am low on HP and I would fight those 8 bugs and they surprise me, well, we would be in for a world of hurt. And this is the second time we're getting surprised by 8 bugs. Ah, you hate to see it. You really hate to see this. Because there's such a time loss. I mean, look at this. Look at that time ago. Where we just sit here, doing nothing, but taking hits. I hate it. Okay, I think I'll just go the safe route and use another potion here.
Got something tasty for you. Focus on the battle.
That was probably the game's payback for just giving me 2 Miglovs a little bit earlier. So I think we just lost the time that we gained by fighting those. Now the good news is, once you actually get through this grinding session, we don't have to grind ever again. Now we will still take a couple random encounters here or there, but we do not have to grind ever again. After we have gone through this grinding session, it will be all the speed, all the time, until the end of the run. Which is nice. Now you just have to get through this portion here. Also looks like I lied because you can still get preemptive strikes by using the monster bait. Oh god. And after the preemptive comes surprise, because of course it does. I mean, I'm kinda okay with them howling so they summon help, so if I have another monster to fight, because I really don't care how many I fight at once. It's just the more enemies are out in the field, the more SP I gain by killing them. Okay, so after this fight, we have completed 9 runs, so we are about 75% of the raid done. If we are lucky, that is. So Lhasa is at 1084, we need 1200, so 116 more. Still a couple of fights. I'd very much like for at least 2 more Miglovs, huh? There we go. That's one. That helps. Can we get 2 more?
Let's fight.
I know I just said 2, but I want 2 more now as well. If possible. Ready, please? I mean, if you just keep sending those 8 bucks at me, it's also totally fine. Okay. This works. Okay. Getting some good luck at the moment. Ah, of course, there you go. This is the third surprise attack that we're getting. My god, this is unlucky. Just stop hitting Ulan, please. Oh, Dagmar. Oh god. Oh, that was lucky.
Great work.
That was a butt clenching moment there, for sure. I mean, you know, if, like, once again, when a character dies, they don't gain anything at the end of that fight. So if Ulan would have died there, she would have lost out on 8 SP, which isn't that much, but there really isn't a convenient way for me to make up those lost SP. But I'd rather not have to go and have to, because Ulan is kind of critical for the rest of the run here.
Let's do this. Focus. Got something tasty.
Let's fight. Like that.
Okay, getting closer to the end.
Like that.
It's over.
We won't lose.
Great work.
Okay, that's 11. Let's see where we are. Oh, we only need 4 more. Really? One more fight and we're done.
Tasty for you. Focus.
And it's a Miglov. What the? Okay then. Really need the right threshold? Yeah, I totally did. Alright, I'll take it. So we're gonna be making a big menu now. We're gonna grab a bunch of abilities. Can't find them. You know, that is what we did all the grinding for in the first place. Okay. There you go. Other region, all of that stuff. Yeah, right. Okay. Dagmar gets his main job. He's gonna become a chronomancer. Gonna switch those around. And Eco is gonna become a white mage. Gonna put on a bunch of equipment, the Rosalas, the buckler and the cotton robe. Pijo is getting the Kang, Jagmar is getting the Sham, the buckler, and the cotton mantle. You're getting the cotton robe, mirror shield. I'm gonna... come on. Get the double cast, the outer region. Auto race and rescuer. I think that's it. All right. That's the grind done, everyone. Let's continue with the run. So we are basically even more powerful than we were before.
Let's fight.
Let's see how that translates into battle, shall we?
Let me help.
Go.
Ready. Water.
You done? And we immediately get thrust into the next boss fight.
Stay alert.
There's Shala. She is the Astria of this temple.
I'm ready. Let's see.
So if you weren't able to tell, she is weak against wind. And we have a bunch of wind attacks now.
Victory.
So she's dead. And now into Virgo Temple proper. Once again, yeah, sorry that's a little bit silent in here. As I explained earlier, there is a sound block in the game going on at the moment. Which means that we will... Or that's what happens quite often is that the game audio just gets muted by quite a lot. So it's still there, it's just, you know, very, very quiet. I'm barely able to hear it, especially when I start talking. The developers are aware of it, and I think they just sent out a patch for testing by Sony and Microsoft and whatnot. So it should come through in the next couple days or weeks, which hopefully addresses the issue.
It's over.
Because the game also has some, you know, very lovely music, actually. If it's there.
Focus on the battle.
But yeah, we are in Virgo Temple now, and once again, I am fighting all these enemies here. Because yes, we are done with the grind, but we still need more SP, because we still want to grab more abilities. We are not done with it yet. It's just more convenient to do the rest of the fights, you know, along the way, than just spending even more time in the Blazing Sands than we already did. Though to be fair, I have been toying with the idea of not fighting these enemies in the temples, because as you can see, we could just jump over them and just circumvent these fights, and just instead have more fights during the grinding session. But yeah, I just haven't come around to testing that theory enough yet to know if it would be faster or not. And then again, I would also probably get bored to death having to do even more of that grinding session. But hey, if anybody wants to try that out, be my guest.
Stay alert.
Also, hello there, Liquify. Nice to see you. Thank you for the good luck. Hope you're doing well today.
It's over. Focus on the battle. Great work. Yeah.
I'm eager to see what the other temples look like as well.
True. But I'm more interested in how tough the road ahead is.
Okay, this is the part where we now get the earth power for our ring. And as you can see, it allows me to summon these statues that I then can use as a platform to reach higher ledges and stuff. And let me just put it out there now that this ability is kinda broken in a good way. As you will see momentarily, while I forget to replenish Arpeggio's MP again, because I'm a dum-dum. So let's try this again.
Let's fight.
Because what you're supposed to use this ability for is, to put it on switches like this. To put them down so you can actually progress. And, obviously use them as a platform as well. But, I mean, technically, we're gonna use them for exactly that as well. Just in a more unintended way, let me put it that way.
We won't lose! Ha ha!
So another use is you can summon it in mid-air. So it falls down and smashes this bridge, I want to say. Those boards on the ground. I'm going to basically kind of combine some of the things we just learned about this ability
This'll be over
in
quick.
just a moment.
Ha ha!
It's over.
All well, that is good to hear. So there's another puzzle. We're supposed to, hit a bunch of switches and then grab some more water to go through that door and yada yada yada. Instead, we're gonna try and do this. And we made it first try. Because just before the statue, catches up with the gravity, you can still use it as a platform mid-air to reach even higher places. And that basically allows us to skip a couple things here or there. Which is pretty great. Also, I'm not gonna forget this menu again like it dumped on like I did last time. So we're gonna grab this. And Pedro is gonna go ahead and grab this. Okay. Should be good. And hey! Gonna have a next boss fight.
We won't lose!
Oh, these guys.
Ha ha!
Let me help. Light. Ready. Water.
I think that should kill.
Water.
Oh, that didn't kill. Okay, that killed. Dude just survived by a sliver of hair. Okay, and since we have another boss fight upcoming, let me just take the opportunity to heal up a little bit. Because guess what? Shalaw's back. I would have seen that coming. So this is the real fight against her. And hopefully we're gonna make quick work of her. Because we are so powerful now. So once again, she is weak against wind magic. Ah, I didn't get the fierceness proc. That was a bummer.
Ready.
She survived a little bit there. Let's see how much of a problem that is gonna be. But yeah, since we have so powerful wind magic now, we are basically pushing her face like every time we cast once. And since Ulan has a double cast, well, you do the math yourself. And now since Dagmar is a Chronomancer, he has the replay ability. So he can just, borrow Ulan's more powerful wind magic. Start pushing her phases himself. So this is her real self. We have broken her out of her stony whatever. Then get rid of everybody here. Ah, she survived. That's a bit unfortunate.
I'm ready.
Ah, but barely anything. Oh well, it's okay. A little bit of a time loss, but that is probably because Dagmar didn't get one of his fierceness procs a little bit earlier to push the face sooner. That's okay. Okay, we're back in town, and we have more problems, so obviously we're gonna resolve them. This time we are having problem in the human portion of Harmonia Town.
We won't lose.
Once again, we come here and take care of the enemies that have appeared in town.
Absolute victory.
Focus.
Ha ha!
Not as tough as a demigod.
Ha ha!
Okay, taking care of all the baddies. We talked to Ophern to hand in the next part of the quest. You know, before we did the grind, we picked up the quest item that he needed. And now we're finally gonna pick up the last part of his quest chain. So we are finally at the part where we want to be.
This is Bracer and Selling's doing.
So we're gonna come here and buy a weapon, the Bunda. Gonna change party. Put Kaden in, go to our Ascension tree, go to Oolong, get more magic attack power, because she needs it. Arpeggio, need more agility, and we can't afford more strength. Dagmar gets this, and then Kaden gets her main job. She is gonna become an assassin. Now, assassins deal a bunch of different status effects. However, we are gonna use her because assassins also gain the Umbrorima spell, which is a level 4 dark magic spell, which is, you know, the highest power magic that you can get. And then also equip the Bunda on her. Anything else that she needs? No. Okay. And then we are gonna pay a visit to Ulan's brother.
This is the Make Me Handler shop. Quite lively by the looks of it. Good for the soul.
I think I can imagine why.
And skip my cutscenes. Yeah, you go to the door. Apparently there's more trouble brewing in Artisan, so we're gonna go back there. And we are gonna fight another boss in the town. Oh no, what is happening? So this is Onus, the Leo Astray. As always, we're gonna defense break him. He is weak against darkness, believe it or not. So we are gonna cast Umbrorima against him. Deals a bunch of damage. Then remember that Dagmar is a Chronomancer, right? So we can just go ahead and replay that. And that just kills him outright. Tough boss fight, everybody. Tough boss fight. So a bunch more stuff happens, and we're back in the desert. However, this time we're not here to grind. We will actually continue through the desert this time to Leo Temple. And if you remember what I said at the beginning of the grinding section, basically all the grinding we've been doing was specifically for Leo Temple, because it can be very, very hard to progress through those arena fights, as you may or may not see in just a minute here when we get there. Ooh, I'll get into that fight if I can help it.
Given how involved our families are, I don't think that's the case anymore.
Okay, the problem here are these rats specifically. Now, the rats are kinda okay-ish still. The things that we want to look out for are these blackish rats or purple rats or whatever the color is supposed to be. Because they have a very high evasion rate, they are very fast, and yeah, as you just see right there, they dodged the forces and they killed our Pajo. So we have to go ahead and revive him. And this is why we did all the grinding, because of stuff like this happening. Now, obviously this is gonna cost me dearly, time-wise, because both threats survived. Because believe it or not, even though, you know, Forcius looks like a spell, it's actually a physical attack, even though it has no element. So enemies can actually dodge it. For some reason you cannot dodge spells in this game, but you can dodge physical attacks. And all the force attacks, or spells, or whatever, are considered to be a physical ability. And that is why these rats can dodge them. And that can basically just spell disaster for you. Does that kill? It doesn't. Okay, so yeah. This is really unfortunate that we got 2 dodges here. But not a lot they can do about it. So we're just gonna wait a little while for Arpeggio to regenerate, because he is critically important for this. And we're just gonna continue on. Now also these dark rats are the fastest enemies that we have faced so far. I think they have an agility score of 31, if I'm not mistaken. But since Arpeggio now has 32 agility, he will always outspeed them, because the turn order is strictly determined by the agility stat of everybody. However, if they just dodged his attacks, well, you know, we have to clean them up somehow. And that is what we need the other characters for. Oh shit, why did you survive? I think I was using the wrong spell there. Okay. And you know, as you can see, we're just getting thrust into battle after battle after battle without the opportunity to heal in between. So if we were to, you know, get into one of these rounds with very little health, these enemies would just absolutely murder you instantly. That is why we need to do all the grinding and, you know, allocating our stats correctly and stuff like that, so that we can get through Leo Temple here. Or at least I haven't found a better way to get through this without all the grinding beforehand. So if you have an idea how to make this go, you know, consistently, but even faster, feel free to reach out to me. I would love to hear your suggestions. Because you could obviously try to get through these arena fights at a lower power level, but it would be a slog for sure. I really don't see this happening anytime soon, if I'm honest.
This'll be over quick.
But yeah, other than that, there's not much to say here. Just use Arpeggio with his Omni spells. And wreck all these guys. Okay, this is the last set of 4 battles that we have to go through. Easy peasy, right? Except that these black rats are back, so they can dodge our attacks once again. Let's hope it doesn't happen, because we've already had that happen often enough for my liking during these arena fights. Okay, and with that we have another change coming up, because with Arpeggio we are gonna grab Last Stand and then even more strength. With Dagmar we are gonna get Supplement, critically important, and then with Alec he is gonna get his main job. He is gonna become a warrior, and warriors, oh my god, warriors are a thing of beauty. Because they get access to the triple slash ability. And triple slash basically does what you think it would do. It lets you attack 3 times at once. And let me just tell you, it deals a whole lot of damage, especially on Alec, with all the passive skills that he has. Oh, And let's grab that as well. Okay. That out of the way. Let's go to abilities on Arpeggio. He's gonna get a last stand. You're gonna get supplement. Dangerous. Go to equipment, and Alec gets the Kang and a pale skin armor. Then we should be all healed up, okay? And then we're gonna fight Onus once again. But this time he changes his weaknesses every turn. Well, luckily, at least in the beginning, he always does it in the same order. So he will be weak to fire on the first round. So we're gonna use fire against him to build up FP. And then we're gonna use triple slash on Alec and just wreck his face. Oh, what? Okay. That's not good. I need those guys alive, please. He should be dead. Why is he not dead? Okay, honestly, I've never had this happen before. Why is that guy still alive? Normally he dies after the triple slash. Well, I guess there's a first time for everything.
Just getting started.
Didn't they use enough FP or something? Interesting. I have no idea what just happened during that fight there. Was Alec not strong enough? Did I... Oh, it's not strength. Okay. Huh. Must have been just low damage rolls or something? Interesting. Anyway, we go through it. A little bit of a time loss, but nothing too shabby. Okay, back in town. Last part that we haven't been to yet, Awisi Woods. So there's trouble here now. Let's sort it out by murdering some Awisis. Yeah, not fighting any monsters this time around, but actual people. Because they are tearing the place apart. Doesn't matter too much that Pedro dies here. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright. I'll take that fight.
We're behind enemy lines at this point. Alasia, watch yourself.
Apparently the Awisis are up to something bad, so we're just having a look around. If we can find anything. And indeed we find this underground passage. Let's have a look around. And this is more or less the last time we'll be fighting random encounters. Because after this point, Arpeggio basically just doesn't cut it anymore. And we will gain all the rest of the FSP that we need by just fighting the bosses that we do. So just for reference, when I played the game casually, I finished it level-wise on my character. It's like somewhere in my 40s, I think low 40s or something, 42, 43, something like that. With a speedrun, we will finish it around level 20. So just to put in perspective how weak we're gonna be. Because basically, I think from this point onward, everything will more or less one-shot us. Because we are basically glass cannons, as you are, you know, want to be during an RPG speedrun. So if I were to let these guys get a turn, well, let's just say it wouldn't end so great for us. And I think Arpeggio is missing some strength because he can't one-shot these guys. So let's quickly check, and indeed he is. Okay, we can grab it, great. So he should be able to one-shot these guys now. Because he just increased his strength by another 18 points.
This'll be over quick.
And since, once again, damage scales exponentially, yeah, well, that does a lot. That makes a difference for sure.
Absolute victory. This'll be over quick. Ha ha! Absolute victory.
Ulan, forgive me if this seems too harsh, but I think it would be best if Livan didn't know about this.
No.
Yeah, we do have enough MP for my fight. I was starting to second guess myself here. So now we gotta replenish Arpeggio's MP once again. He just loves his ethers, doesn't he?
Let's finish this ASAP.
Great work. How much further does this go?
Time to fight. It's finished.
Okay, we find this very big statue on the ground here. These guys must have slaved away to create this quite a while. And obviously, we're gonna have another boss fight. So one of these enemies is weak against physical, the other is weak against water. So I guess you will already know what we will do here. You said exploit their weaknesses? You are absolutely correct about that.
I'll take you all on. Nice. Hey. Like that?
Let's see. Water! Water!
Alright, that was a boss fight.
Hurry! We can't let Saren get away.
I'm feeling kind of claustrophobic. Get me to the surface already.
We'll put it to the wrong way for some reason. That was unintentional. Once again, go back to Yuno, and then things will continue.
Homeward bound.
There's just a lot of story stuff happening right here. A lot of walking around, talking to people. And then we're gonna quickly switch our characters out and do a unintentional boss fight, because for some reason if you use the monster bait ability here, you actually get into this boss fight. That will happen a little bit later in the story, but for now we can't fight him. because I need more SP. And this guy gives us 35 SP whenever we kill him, which is a lot. It's way faster than having to grind more, you know, against normal enemies. However, he can be quite tricky to defeat. So obviously we have to be very careful when we're fighting him. I only have to fight him 2 times. So let's see how this goes. Okay, first way down, lovely. Goes very good. Just quickly wait for Eco to regenerate. And do it a second time.
Something tasty for you.
Let's finish this ASAP.
Let's hope this goes as well as it did the first time. Would very much like that.
I'm ready.
Okay, it didn't transform this time. Please switch. Okay. Should be good.
I'll take you all on. Nice.
Alright, perfect. That went about as good as it could have. Switch up. Switch back to Oolong, go to the Ascension tree. Gonna grab Arima. It's gonna grab even more strength. And then Alec also needs more strength. Okay.
Hurry, hurry! We've got to
Fruit.
get Federa.
So, Alex,
And we're back at the Grand Canyon.
strength in Havalians?
Don't know about that.
There basically a bunch of story stuff just happened. As it always does when I skip the cutscenes. That you will never know about. Because I don't really have the time to talk about all the story happening here. So if you want to know what's going on, well, I guess you have to play the game yourself. Okay, why did you survive? Fire. Still enough to kill them. But as you can see, you know, if Arpeggio is not able to kill these enemies anymore, well, not a good place to grind.
I was concerned when I learned your family was alive,
Should be good. Oops.
but I'm really
up there.
glad to hear it's not like the others.
And guess what's gonna happen? Gonna find another boss. This is Shulodai.
Let's fight.
Let's see how fast we can rack him. A defense break. He's weak to wind.
Ooh, give it to me.
His only courage.
Let's see.
Okay, for some reason that spell is missing its animation. Just strange. Don't know what that is. Probably another bug. Hopefully it gets fixed soon then. Looking at that, a bunch of abilities seem to be missing the animation at the moment.
I'll take you all on. Yeah.
Interesting.
Nice. Yeah.
Like I said before, this game tends to have a couple bugs here or there. Most of the time the developers are aware of it and are trying to actively fix it.
No one to talk.
Just that sometimes they fix something for another thing to pop up. And it's been a little bit of a back and forth ever since the game released. But they are on top of it, so I expect this to be fixed soonish as well. In the meantime, let's have another boss fight. Like, you know, I said this before, but once you are out of the grinding session, one boss fight just follows the other very, very quickly in this game. Good, nice crit.
Great work. We should feed some of that fruit to Fedora.
Okay, just to, you know, mix things up a little bit, we now have a little shoot 'em up section. You definitely can't say this game doesn't have variety. So this is more or less an auto-scroller. You kinda want to try and defeat the enemies as quickly as possible though, because it makes the next wave spawn a little bit faster. So, you know, you can't just completely hang back and do nothing. But it's way more important to stay alive, obviously, because that would be a huge time loss if you weren't able to do that. I've got some power-ups here. It's getting hit like an idiot. And you can also, you know, switch your projectiles to different elements to actually hit the weaknesses of these enemies to try and defeat them in the first place. There's actually quite a bit involved. Because obviously some enemies are weak against some shots and they absorb others, or not absorb, but resist others. Not doing too great of a job here at the moment, but we made it to the boss. She's weak against Earth, sorry. I'm gonna try and pellet her with both shards at once, and that is the shoot 'em up section done. So now we've made it to the first wind element temple, the Gemini temple. And obviously, since we are in a new temple, we're gonna have a boss fight.
Let's fight.
Let's fight indeed. We might remember this guy. This time they are, well, conjoined. Oh, great miss there, Pager. Wow. Wow. Great start to this fight. Absolutely not. So there's a 50% chance every time you hit his weakness for him to switch around, and I want him to face up his physical side. But he is just not complying here. Oh, wow. Dude, really? Come on, switch around. There we go. Okay, this is gonna cost me time.
I'll take you all on. Yeah.
Now, like I said, it's basically a coin flip if he shows you his physical weak side or not. Obviously, you want him to do that so you can just triple slash his ass and kill him. Sadly, just didn't want to do that this time. Anyway, let's go to Dagmar and give him his first job, which is gonna be a shaman. Now, shamans have the ability to fuse, which basically means that they can put an element on my physical attacks, which is pretty nice. And it translates to our abilities as well, which is even better. So we're gonna go to Eco and make him a harnesser. White mage. Okay. And on to the temple. Now once again, sadly, the music is cut because of the audio bug. Otherwise you would hear this lovely little tune.
Mission complete.
Guess you just have to imagine it now. Ah, shit, I actually got into this fight. I jumped a little bit too late there. I got it so we can get out of this. Thankfully we can. Because from this point onward, we do not want to fight random enemies anymore unless we absolutely have to. Because they can just absolutely murder us from this point onward. We are so low on levels and HP and whatnot that they can just instantly kill us. And our pager will also start to fall a little bit behind on the agility side, so he may not be able to go first anymore during some encounters. Once again, we're skipping a part of a puzzle here. Normally would have go upward first, and I fought into another part to actually make these platforms go into, well, a different arrangement so we can actually get onto that ledge. But since we abuse the earth power of the ring, we don't have to do that puzzle. Easy as that.
I thought for sure Saren and her group would be here waiting for us.
So there are some more puzzles here. Obviously they are wind related because this is a wind elemental temple. We're gonna guide these blocks into their holes in order to make these wheels turn. Once we have lit all 4 of these wheels, we can continue. Oh. Okay, that was sketch. I activated the wind again a little bit too early there. Made it work though. Made it work. And here we got the wind power, which is the last of the elemental powers for our ring. With wind we can now push blocks around, which is lovely to have. Once again, we are supposed to go left here and drop a block down from up top, but we can just use our statue to cross that chasm, no problem. Saving us the time of having to do that particular puzzle. And this one is a little bit more involved. Let's see if I can remember how to do this correctly. Okay, that was pretty good. Nice. So now normally you are supposed to go another way back to this particular room, but since there is a teleporter in that room, we can just quickly go ahead and warp there, saving us the walk back. And this leads us squarely to the end of this temple, where, you guessed it, we're gonna have another boss fight. And it's these guys again. Because who else would it be, right? I mean, at this point, we probably all know how to handle these. Now, if you would just stop dying, dude, that would be much appreciated. I could have just survived that page out there. Oh. That'll work. Alright, good. And now we're just gonna go back to the entrance of the temple, but once again, there's a teleporter there, so we can just warp there. And that is all done with.
Eudora, get out of here!
Oh yeah. Go to the marketplace. Buy new weapons. Deniers. An Arcap. Buy 2 Octan armors. And 3 Octan robes. Oh, 1 Octan robe. Oh well, doesn't matter. I have enough money.
Welcome to my shop.
We need life cores and angel wings and panaceas and omni panaceas, and then we're gonna go back to Aries temple, which we have been near the beginning of the run, if you remember. It was the second temple we visited. There was this door that we couldn't open earlier, but it just magically opens now. So let's have a look into this new area. Equip new stuff on everybody. And actually switch the party around.
We should venture further.
And we have another boss fight. And this time we're gonna fight McCain for real. You know, the boss we fight earlier 2 times. This is where you're actually supposed to fight him in the game.
Let me help.
Okay, didn't switch around. Should be good though, because we can just use Fire Fuse on Alec. Make his attacks Fire Elemental, and then kill him. The boss, that is, not Alec.
Like that.
The more time passes, the stronger my connection.
Okay, this is the point in the run where the world map finally opens up to us, so we can now go basically everywhere we want. Because, as I explained way at the beginning, we have now completed the 5 temples that were mandatory for story progression, and now we are tasked with completing 3 more out of the remaining 7 in order to, well, commence story progression. So we can choose any of those 7 temples, and obviously we're going to choose those ones which are the fastest to complete. So we are gonna go ahead and do a little preparation here first, because if you remember, we are still on Ophan's side quest chain, and the game just crashed. Great. Okay then. This is interesting. I mean, I know that it crashes. Like, I have at least one crash every run I do, but it has never crashed at this particular point. So this is very interesting to me. It does have an autosave feature, so it's not too bad. I'm just really interested to see where it actually spits us out this time. Because normally it crashes around the 3-hour mark, so this caught me a little bit by surprise here. Where are we? There we are. Okay. Yeah, we didn't lose a lot of progression, so it's not so bad. It's just, you know, it always catches you a little bit by surprise here. Like where it actually goes out and spits you out. Now my guess is this is due to some memory leak that is happening. But obviously I have no proof for that because I'm not playing on PC, so I can't have a look. Yeah, you know. It's gonna go Jetif and bear it. But we're gonna immediately leave this temple again and go back to Pisces temple, because this is where we can complete the next part of Ophan's quest. Just gonna have a look at this.
Let's fight.
These enemies are weak, so we're just gonna delete them.
None as tough as a
And then go back to Virgo Temple and basically do the same thing there as well.
We won't lose! Ha ha!
Don't underestimate us.
Okay, it's not done. And for the next part, we're gonna go back to our Monia Tower, talk to Nobi to unlock the next part, and then we're gonna go back to the swamp and make our way towards Scorpio Temple. And in order to get to Scorpio Temple, we have to go through another shoot 'em up section. And once I start that shoot 'em up section, I will be gone for just a minute because oh shit, didn't want to get to that fight. But let's just say I have to go to the bathroom. And I can hopefully do that during the shoot 'em up section. Hopefully I won't die there, but if I do, I guess it won't be much of a setback. But I am rather afraid of the catastrophe that may befall me if I don't use the bathroom. So let's take that for a quick break. So I will be back in just a minute, guys.
Okay, we're not 100% sure what just happened, but we're gonna come back as soon as we figure it out. Just 1 second, everybody hold tight.
Alright, I'm back. So apparently that didn't work out. Yeah, again, sorry guys, but I really had to go to the bathroom for a second there. I thought that I could just leave this running and, you know, come back and it would have progressed a little bit, but I guess I just immediately died. So that is not what to say.
No worries. Yeah, we got a little confused there for a second. We were wondering what was going on, but no worries, no worries. That makes sense.
I thought I said it enough that I needed to go to the bathroom real quick and just leave the auto scroller running. Guess it just didn't come through. No worries. Alright, we can do the rest of the run now. Whew. Been kind of sitting on that urge for about 2 hours now and I just couldn't hold it any longer, sorry. Anyway, shoot 'em up section. We are on the way to Scorpio Temple, which is the first out of the optional temples that we're gonna tackle. And basically the reason we're gonna go there first is because we can do the last part of Ophan's quest. And that will give Ulan specifically a very powerful weapon. She will become quite the menace with it. Oh my god, I'm just getting bodied by these guys. Okay, that wasn't so good. Let's just hope we won't die. I mean, as you saw, there are checkpoints in these shoot 'em up sections, so it's not so bad, but still dying just looks kind of bad. Don't want to die. Please and thank you. Especially when we're so close to the end. Oh shit, I didn't see that shot there. Okay, down to the wire. Whew. Made it through. Okay, change party. Eco, Arpeggio, Dagmar, Alec, okay. Equipment wise, Alec needs the stun guard ring that we just picked up. And we go to the ascension tree. And just grab a couple other abilities. Let's use more strength just. Okay, doesn't have enough for that. Okay, we've come to the temple. So obviously what's gonna happen is we're gonna fight another boss, right? That is just how these things do. So Zibani is one of the hardest bosses in the speedrun, I want to say. Simply because he has 8 phases that we have to try and go through. So let's see how this fight goes. It's also very specific in the abilities that I'm gonna use. And how many FP and whatnot, so this is all pretty meticulously planned out. Let's just hope it goes well. So let me just concentrate on this. Because otherwise I might be in for a world of trouble here. Because as long as the Bonnie has that shield up, he is immune to physical attacks. But again, since we use fire fuse on Alec, his attacks count as fire elemental, so that is why he can still break the shield. And once again, the animation is lagging a little bit behind, but Zibani has actually lost his shield now.
You're kidding me!
I'm ready.
I'll take you all on. Yeah. Like that.
Okay. Pushing him very good so far.
Let me help.
My turn now. Like that. Look.
So he is weak against fire once he loses his shield. If you hadn't noticed. He should be in phase 6 now. So he should be in the last phase now, and he is. Okay, perfect.
All yours.
The last phase he is invisible, but he is weak to physical attacks. For whatever reason.
I'll take you all on. Yeah.
So we're just able to kill him now. Nice.
Nice. Look. Wonderful.
Perfect. That was basically the best fight you can have with that guy. And now we are in Scorpio Temple. The Scorpio Temple has this whole, you know, you go through certain doors and then the camera switches around thing going on, so it can be really disorientating the first time you go through this. Luckily, this is not my first time, so I should be able to navigate this temple. I hope. Push that block here, then let us smash to the ground. Right.
We should
Yep.
zoom deeper in.
Fell into the abyss. Why would I do that? And again, wow. Okay. Probably my jump button isn't working. Or I'm just not pushing it hard enough. That was the case. And this NPC here is the last guy we have to defeat in order to complete Orphan's quest. So let's have at you.
Time to fight.
Oh, preemptive strike even. Oh, I'll definitely take that.
Let me help.
Thunder. Thunder.
My turn now. Yeah. Nice. It's
Okay.
finished.
That guy dealt with. So now we just have to go back to Orphan to cash in our rewards, but we will do this after we've done with this temple. So now we just have to get through this. If you can't exactly follow along what is happening here, don't be discouraged. It's perfectly normal the first time you come here. And here we get the upgraded water power for our rings. So what this allows us now is to walk on water, which is pretty convenient because we will kind of abuse that in another temple in just a short while. Problem with this power is sometimes it just doesn't trigger when you touch a body of water, so you know what just happened might happen to you, where even though you are supposed to be able to walk on water, all of a sudden you don't, and you get sent back. It's not a major hiccup, it's just more like, why did that happen? Game please. Now this Omni Ether X that we just picked up is actually critically important for the run, because we will need this for the very last boss. So it's just convenient to pick it up at this point. Very much so. And this basically completes Scorpio Temple. So have to talk to this NPC. Let's get the cutscenes. And now we're gonna go back to Orphan and cash in on our well-reserved rewards.
Within me are bound to every fiber of my being. Our bond grows ever stronger.
And now we actually go back into the swarms once more, because there's yet another temple that we can go to here, which is Cancer Temple. And that is going to be the next one that we're going to go ahead and complete. Now that we can walk on water, obviously, you know, we can make this track right here. And also completely skip a couple puzzles, not only before the temple, but also in the Cancer Temple. Which always makes me question if the developers have actually thought that through. Because you're normally supposed to go up these platforms and push another block down here so you can traverse this, but since you can just walk on water, like, I mean, you just saw what happened, right? Okay, Cancer Temple. So first of all, we're gonna switch our party around again. We're gonna bring in Ulan. We're gonna equip Ulan with the Chrysos, and the Priest hat. Dagmar gets the Runic hat, and we're gonna unequip this, and unequip that, and unequip both on Eco. And then we're gonna go ahead and fight Kokinos, the Astray of Cancer Temple. If I can actually manage to skip this cutscene.
Stay alert.
Isn't he just the cutest fluffy little guy you ever saw? I really want a plushie of that guy, I'm not gonna lie. But first of all, we have to wreck his shit. So he's weak to lightning. Let's go ahead and abuse that. And yeah, this is why we pick up the Chrysos, because Ulan now deals about 30,000 damage with one cast. And the lovely little dude isn't so lovely anymore. I mean, ugh. He has had a change of heart. Must be his golf face or something. Okay, kill Dagmar, that's not too bad. Just pick him up again. Interesting enough, he is weak against darkness, so we're gonna Umbra Fuse Alec. And triple slash our way to victory, as always. Bye. So like I said, triple slash is pretty busted in this game. Because Alec also has phenomenal strength growth, and even though, you know, we use one of the fuse abilities on him, it still uses his strength stat to calculate the damage. Also, we use the earth power once again to skip a puzzle.
Power of water. It beckons us to enter the temple.
And now that we can walk on water, we can skip this puzzle here, because we don't have to do the water wheel thing. We can just walk straight by. Also, it's really sad that they can't hear the music in this temple because it is gorgeous. Ah, I really love the music in here. We do have to do part of this puzzle, so we have to pick up the water here. And then go into the next room. But we're still gonna skip part of it, because normally you're supposed to put all these blocks into the right order to form a bridge. However, I'm only gonna be pushing the first one, because with a very precise jump, I can actually make it over to the next one. So let's see if I can make this. Can. God Gamer. Wait for the platform. And now we're gonna do the biggest skip in this whole temple, because we're supposed to make this water wheel turn, but instead just gonna use the power of earth and fall down. That is not what was supposed to happen, obviously. Oh, no. Now I need it a little bit higher, Ulan. Okay, that should work. And skip all of that. So normally you'd have to go into another room and solve a couple puzzles there, push some blocks around, and yada yada yada. It takes forever to do. So we're just not gonna do that. But we're gonna just talk to these people and complete the temple. Easy. And now we're actually gonna go over to Libra Temple. And have a look around there. Obviously, new temple, new boss fight. This is Shamash. He uses a bunch of negative status effects against us. That is why I picked up some panaceas earlier. To clear out all of those. Now he is weak against earth. And light, as it were.
I'll take you all on.
Oh! That's not good. He survived the face push.
My turn now.
Okay, I guess we're gonna have another round here. Normally he should be in his second phase already. I guess I low rolled on the magic there. Probably cost me a couple seconds here. Alright. Here's the second phase now. Gonna use Omni Punishment, which puts a lot of status ailments on us. So we want Iku to go first because he's immune to some of them. So we can't just use an Omni Panacea on the rest of my characters here. And then we're gonna use Area Fuse on Alec, and once again use Triple Slash for the win. Yeah, that was unlucky that I have to go through a whole nother round of my party, but oh well. Only cost us like 20 seconds or so. Okay, switch parties around, we bring Arpeggio back in, we go to our Ascension tree, grab more stuff there. Now we don't have enough on him, okay. Do I need arrow fuse? I think I do. Ah, just a little bit short than everything. Alright. Anyway, this is Libro Temple. Right. Got this in the wrong order. Oh, come on. You can actually hear the music, which is lovely. I love this place, to be honest. Such a cool temple, design-wise. Also, just for the organizers, as a kind of a heads up, from this point onward, we are about 30 minutes out from finishing the run, give or take. So we should be able to finish this way under estimate, hopefully. Unless anything goes wrong from out here, but it shouldn't actually. But, you know, as I've explained during the whole of the run so far, ING plays such a huge factor in this game. Especially during the grinding section. Like, if you just get a bad grinding section, this can heavily influence the time that you're gonna get at the end. You have to do more rounds, etc, etc. Luckily, we didn't have to do too much extra this time around. And we actually had some pretty good boss fights and stuff around. Just a little bit sad that I had to go ahead and take that bathroom break, but oh my god, I don't think I would have survived the rest of this run without that. Okay, as you see, we're kind of trying to avoid all the enemies. We cannot avoid this one. So this fight right here, this is scary, but we got a preemptive strike, which is phenomenal. This is such good luck. And it's only against 3 enemies too. Oh my god. Game is spoiling me. So this should be no problem at all. Yeah, get wrecked, guys. Woohoo! That was good. That was really good. Wow. Ah, shit. And of course I run through this enemy to make up for it. It's just the same enemies again, but I'm gonna run anyway. I think basically the time that we gained by having a preemptive strike and not having to go through the enemy animations, we just lost again by me getting into that fight. Ah, the duality of speedruns. Oh, come on, what? Why didn't that fall down? Come on, move. Okay, so the big riddle in this temple is to hit these 2 switches. Or buttons. One is right here, the other's on the other side. Now, I can do a sequence of frame-perfect jumps in order to skip the second half of the temple and get to the switch over there. So I'm just gonna try this once. That is too high up, that is too low. Too high. Yeah. You only get 1 chance at that, but it basically allows you to everything that I have to do here. It saves about 1.5 to 2 minutes or so. So it's quite substantial, but once again, you know, it's a couple of frame perfect jumps back to back in an RPG. So it's really hard to get that during an actual run. I can get it consistently enough, I want to say, during practice, but getting it into a run is just nigh on impossible. But yeah, I would have skipped all that I've just done now. But on the other hand, you know, you actually get to see what I would skip otherwise, so here we are. So I guess that is nice. And I guess if I ever were to get that trick during a run, that would probably be absolutely unbeatable. So maybe I'm not too sad that I didn't get it. Who knows? Anyway, now we made it up here. We're getting the upgraded wind ring. And what that allows us to do now is to glide. So we can do funny stuff like this now. So we're just gonna use these wind streams to go upwards and reach these platforms. Oh, I accidentally pressed the wrong button there for a moment. For some reason my brain was like, hey, you know, X is a jump button. No, it's circle. It's not X game. It's X in a lot of other games, but not this one. I mean, it's not like I have not been jumping for a while. I mean, a lot of the things that we do in this run is jumping around. I don't know why my brain would say that. Also, if you just look at this part of the level, I don't know about you guys, but I could definitely... not definitely. I have the urge to listen to some Sticker Brush Symphony, if you guys know that song. Because it heavily reminds me of Donkey Kong Country. For whatever reason. Maybe it's just me. Maybe you also have that urge. Also, welcome in, raiders! Okay, come and show you with the big O raid. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing well. And you're ready for more speedrun shenanigans during Game Over Cancer Spring 2022. We are raising money for a good cause, so come on in, enjoy the show, and maybe donate. And thank you for good luck. Can definitely need it. Because we have another boss fight coming up. And it's these guys. Again. This is the 4th time we're fighting these now. Luckily it's also the last time. So let's see how this goes. Because this is actually one of the toughest fights in the game, I want to say, because these guys have so much HP. It's kind of ridiculous. Okay, Pedro's already down. I mean, it's okay as long as Alex survives and gets a good hit in, we are good to go. I'm just gonna be cautious here and revive our Pedro, just in case we have to go for a second round. But let's see. Oh fuck, they're all still alive. Come on, Pedro. We need you. Oof. Okay, that's one down, I guess.
Let me help. All yours.
Yeah, as you might tell, this isn't going particularly well. You want to kill these guys in one round.
My turn now. Yeah.
So hopefully this will kill. There we go. Okay. Good enough. Good enough. Wasn't too bad of a plan loss. Okay. And with that, we are now allowed entrance into Wyndham. So let's go there. Immediately go to the weapon shop, buy some more weapons. Make us stronger. Gonna buy 2 Noshira. We are gonna buy an... wait a minute. Albali and an Al-Nussel. Okay, yeah. That's what we need. We're gonna equip the Noshiras and the Al-Nussels and the Albali. Gonna go to the Ascension Tree for eco. Grab more magic defense. And we're gonna have another boss fight. Can you tell that we are getting to the end of the game? Because we're just getting swamped with boss fights now. Okay, the animation is missing. He's using a pager. Okay, that's fine. Mini attack is kind of bad. Ooh, wow. I should have used angel wings. What am I doing? Okay, this could be a problem. Because they've been hitting us kind of hard. Okay, only one of them survived though. It's another Omni attack, and we died. Okay. Guess we're gonna do that again. See what I meant when I said we are glass cannons now? Also, just for the record, I've never died to these guys. This is a first. But yeah, things just did not go our way. Didn't I buy the Muscle? About Aeshmah. Okay. There you go. Okay, let's try this again. Hopefully they won't just absolutely wreck us this time. But also use the wrong resurrection item, so yeah. Might have been my bad actually. Okay, we're gonna kill this time. Okay, last stand kicked in, that's good. We actually survived the attack this time. That's even better. Okay, supplement. Just gonna use this. Give us a little bit more FP. Okay, we should kill now. Yeah, there we go. That is how this fight is supposed to look, kinda. Oh, no. Go back into the item shop. Hold on. I wanna buy stuff.
Yes. Hi.
Okay, we need more revival items, apparently, because the game is just mean to me. And then we're gonna go back to Libra Temple. Switch our party around. Yep. And we're gonna fight Brazier. He is one of the 2 big bads, main antagonists in the game. This is our first fight against him. I'm just gonna use defense break again.
I'm ready.
Pistol break.
Take you all on.
So Alec hits.
Yeah.
Okay, good fight. And it's back to Harmonia for us. So we are getting really close to the end of the game now. Basically the last 2 dungeons coming up. So just as a heads up, we are actually on pace, world record pace that is. At the moment, I need Zimar, right? Okay. There we go.
I really was just a pawn.
Like, if I can keep this pace, this could be another world record run, which is pretty awesome to think about, because I actually got another world record while practicing for this marathon. I didn't think I would beat that time so quickly again, but I guess here we are. Let's see if we can bring this home. Okay, Saren, she's the other big bad. You know, Brazier and her. So let's hope we can run around her. If we cannot kill her in one round, this fight will go absolutely off the rails. And be the worst thing ever to happen in your life.
My turn now.
But this should kill her. Because what happens at the end of the first round is she will start summoning ads, and you have to kill the ads before you are able to damage her again. And obviously, you do not want that to happen. Well, these are the Ancient Wastelands, the second to last dungeon. Although I use the term dungeon very loosely here. Because it's basically just a couple of these tunnels.
Let's finish this ASAP.
Preemptive strike. Okay. What are you up to, game? This is way too nice of you.
I'm ready.
I'll do my best.
What are these we against again? Ah, shit.
Water!
Water.
I'll take you all on.
I mean, I should have probably just attacked him normally. I didn't even use the double slash here. That was just absolute overkill. Okay. So we lure this enemy out. And then just quickly use some ether. And we'll have another boss fight. It's just boss fight after boss fight here. Once again, it's defense break. This guy is weak against physicals in his first phase. He's gonna use Omni Mute, so we use another Omni Panacea.
Let me help.
Allow me.
Hit him.
My turn now. Like that.
Oh, I should have used more FP.
Yeah.
Why was I so conservative? Huh, doesn't matter. Push him to phase 2 anyway. Okay.
I'm a fool.
That's not too great. That is why we bought, you know, all the revival items that we did.
I'll do my best.
So he's weak against darkness, so we use Umber Views.
I'll take you all on.
And once again, triple slash our way to victory. Alec is a good character. He kills bosses for us. Just quickly use... I don't think I needed to use those ethers, but rather be safe than sorry. Did I actually ever... Yeah, he has less damage, okay. I wasn't sure anymore for some reason. But hey, second fight against Brazier. See how that goes. Once again, shot with defense break.
Forgive me.
Oh, that's not great.
Let me help.
I kinda need my body here.
Allow me.
Because we need area fuse on Alec. Because guess what we're gonna do? You all know by now. Gonna triple slash.
Like that.
Alright, with that out of the way, it is time for the last dungeon of the game, everybody. We are very close to the end now. I think less than 10 minutes in this run. So let's do it.
The Nigglies are connected to the will kite.
So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna collect a couple of treasure chests, and let me tell you, it is critically important that we get these, because all of these hold some kind of armor that makes us so that we absorb physical attacks. And if we don't pick up these particular armors, the last boss is just gonna outright kill us. There is nothing you can do about it. He always goes first and he uses this massive physical skill, and it just kills your whole party. So it is of critical importance that we pick up these chests and armors.
How could I, a champion of
At least, you know, in the speedrun, because we are so glass canny. You might survive it in a casual playthrough, I can't remember exactly. So gonna buy one of these. And then we're gonna go to the second part of the tower. Let me just concentrate on the way here, because if I lose where I am in very big trouble. Also, I do not want to fight any of these enemies. Yeah, way too scary. Well, here we go.
Time to fight.
Please don't kill me. Okay, good. Ooh. Hey, stay where you are. Okay, so we're gonna go middle and middle again. Then we're gonna go right, middle, left. Because everything just kind of looks the same around here, so you can get lost very easily. And then middle, middle. Okay. Do one last menu. I want Ulan. I want Kaden. Gonna put on our equipment, all the OVC stuff that we picked up. You are getting the Minalava. There's this lookup. Okay. Ascension tree. Gonna pick up a couple more skills for her. Other stuff. Nope. Oh god, what did I do? And with this Zemar, gonna get more health. Kaden. What does Kaden need? Alright, Kaden gets her sub job. She's gonna become a hunter. I'm gonna pick up Mark. Okay, that should be good. Alright. After the last couple boss fights, everybody, here we go. Let's see if I forgot anything. If I did, well, we're dead. Just as easy as that. So this is what you're gonna do. He's gonna use Omni Triple Slash, and if you don't have these armors that I just told you about, well, you are dead at this point. We live. Okay. Gonna use Mark. Gonna use Area Fuse. And Triple Slash. Okay. That should take care of this fight. And then we are on to the final boss after this. Final boss has 4 phases. Every phase he changes his weaknesses, his attacks, basically everything. And when he is in the last phase, he doesn't have any weakness anymore. So I hope to have enough FP saved up at that point so I can just outright kill him. So that phase doesn't drag on. Because in the last phase, he can just outright kill me whenever he wants to. There is nothing I can do about that. So I hope it doesn't happen, obviously.
My turn now.
So let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
The first phase is weak to physicals. Second phase is weak to one half of all elements. The third phase is weak to the other half. Just have to know which phase you are in. Okay, sadly Ulan didn't push him into the next phase. So I'm actually gonna stall a little bit here. Because I need Ulan to push him.
I'll take you all on. Hey! Why?
Oh, what is wrong with... What's wrong with Alec? Is he confused? Oh shit. Didn't see that. Oh, that's not good. Should have done something with Zimar about that. Okay. I gotta play around this a little bit now. It's obviously not optimal.
My turn now.
But there's nothing I can do here with him. So I guess I just have to do it this way.
I'll take this.
Finish him again. That's why I have all these panaceas. I think I only need a double slash this time.
Yeah.
Okay, last phase. Here we go. Oh, not time catch, you bastard. Ah, he just robbed me of all of my SP. And since he doesn't have any weakness anymore, this is gonna be rough now. This probably won't kill. Oof. Not the fight that you want to see. Come on, Ulan. Ah, shit. And now he uses time leak, the bastard. Ah, you're just wasting my time now. The time leak makes it so that I lose a turn with everybody. He can just act again, and if he wants to, he can kill me now. Okay, cleave is good because we absorb physical, as we established earlier. Okay, maybe this kills. Just die, dude. My god. And time is coming up when the field gets black, and time. Sorry, I kind of forgot about saying that. I was so engrossed in the fight there. Alright, this is actually another world record, believe it or not. The end was sadly a little bit sketchy because, well, Ulkite was just not having it. He was just not playing along. I lost nearly a minute against that fight there because of all the sketch that was going on. But yeah, guys, we built a world record by about 2.5 minutes. So that's pretty great. I mean, like I said before, I did get another world record while practicing this run. And, well, here we are, beating at that time by another 2 minutes, which is pretty phenomenal. And it even has a bathroom break, it has a def against the Zefts in Windham, it has a pretty sketchy Wilkite, so there is definitely still enough time save in this run to maybe even push it below sub 330. Who knows? But yeah, that was a pretty good run. I am happy with that outcome for sure. And I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. Yeah, guys, thank you for GGs. Much appreciated. Yeah, I did not expect it to go so well. I'm totally honest here. So, yeah, I am a happy speedrunner today for sure. Well, I guess all that's left for me to say at this point is, thank you so much for the organizers for having me. I always love showing off this game. Astria Ascending is just a phenomenal RPG. Go ahead and buy it. It's on pretty much every console and system out there. PC, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. So you can get it basically everywhere. If you think that this run, looks enticing to you, please go ahead and reach out to me. I will happily share my notes and everything and knowledge with you if you want to get into it, because I think it's just a really good RPG speedrun. It does have a lot of RNG and stuff in it, but it looks great. It is enjoyable to run. Yes, it does have the grinding session in it, but I mean, once you hit that 2-hour mark when the grinding sessions stop, like the rest of the run is just speed, boss fight, and it just really picks up this pace from that point onward. Don't forget to donate to charity. I mean, we've already smashed the initial goal of $2,000, but there is a new goal up there. You can see it right up there on the screen, $2,500. Let's go ahead and reach that before the marathon is over. You still have a couple of hours or even more to donate to that, and this marathon is just gonna keep on trucking with more awesome runs. So stick around for those, watch some speedruns, have a happy holiday, and good luck to all the runners. And I think that's it from me, stalling for time because we finished about 30 minutes under estimate. So hopefully the next runners are ready to do their thing, because I am out of here. Hope to see you soon, everyone. Until then, bye bye.
All right, yeah, thank you so much for the run. That was an absolute blast to watch, and congrats on the time. It looks like you absolutely killed it. That being said, we are going to go to a very brief intermission. We're going to be back with the next run, so make sure you don't go anywhere.